Hi, everybody, and welcome to the FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 12. I am your host, and with me, as always, is my teenage son, Jackson. Say hello.
Hi.
So, first thing I wanted to talk about was, we had a slight growth in some views and subscriptions this week, right? So,
yeah.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, whoever you are, and we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
On YouTube, there's been a slight uptick, and on even Podbean, I think, and to be perfectly honest, iTunes and Google, whatever, and something else, I have no idea how to check.
Google Podcasts.
So we'll just assume that it's thousands and thousands and thousands on those platforms.
So what are we on? We're Podbean, YouTube, iTunes, Google Podcast. There's something I'm missing, right?
Yeah. Spotify.
Spotify. That's the one.
We're pretty much anywhere that carries podcasts at this point, I think.
Yes.
Just because, why not?
Just because it'll help, I guess.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And so, happy Thanksgiving to any Canadian listeners. This is Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend. So we're doing the same things but different. We're going to eat the same food and hang out, but it'll just be us.
And speaking of Thanksgiving, we're going to try to do a Thanksgiving bonus episode for y'all. And so, as we do cover AEW and NXT here, we wanted to do something a little more on-brand. So we're going to cover a retro, so to speak, NXT Takeover. I've selected NXT Takeover Brooklyn from 2015.
Right.
Just because it's a historic one. It was the first one they didn't host in Full Sail.
Right.
And obviously there's like that women's title match, the Balor and Owens. So.
And that way, if anyone wants to sort of watch, listen along, they could watch it ahead of time, and then I'll do that sometimes with retro podcasts. Is I'll go and find the pay-per-view, watch it, so then I know what they're. So if anyone wants to, that is what it'll be. And did you mention we're the guest host or no?
Oh yeah. So we're gonna bring my brother on.
Yep.
Just for some reason.
So Nate's gonna come on, and he's not a hardcore wrestling fan. He's
not
aware
even
of
a wrestling fan, I would say.
And watches a little bit just because it's on a lot. So
yes.
he'll enjoy the show, I think. So it's not like he's anti-wrestling. He's open to it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I think that's all I really.
I ate a donut.
I mean, we could talk about school if you want to. You
No.
love that. No? Jack avoids school. Talking about school this week again.
If you hear a weird little noise, it's just I've got ice cubes in my orange juice. So.
Yeah, that won't annoy me at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess we can roll into our main show. So let's get into some news and rumors, I guess, right?
Yes. And
the first thing, as always, is the ratings. So this Wednesday's Dynamite episode drew an average of 753,000 viewers on TNT, down 13% from last week. NXT averaged 639,000 viewers, also down 13%. So both down the exact same amount. Most likely because there was the presidential debate, which dominated cable and network TV.
Wow.
So, and in the coveted demographic, AEW was down 0.31, down 6%, and NXT is just at a 0.16, down 16%. So considering what they're going up against, the numbers actually aren't that bad. That's still decent numbers, and with a major competition in the debate on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I noticed last week when I listened back,
yeah.
You notice I was careful to say 753,000 because I didn't include the 1,000. When I think I did AEW's ratings, I just said 948 or something like that.
Imagine 948.
Fewer than 1,000 people watched that week. So
right.
That's why there's value in listening back to it, because I noticed I said that.
Yeah. So I've got a pretty gross one here.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre versus Tyson Fury. WWE title match plans were reportedly in motion for a huge UK show. And
Great.
This disgusts me very much.
Not a Tyson Fury fan?
No.
And you are a Drew McIntyre fan?
No, yes. I definitely am.
Yeah,
but I liked him as a heel.
I'm not really interested either. I had not heard anything about that.
Yeah. When I was perusing the news, I saw that. I was just like, yeah. And,
yeah.
Yeah, Tyson Fury isn't exactly a wrestler.
I had forgotten all about his existence, actually, which is fine, I guess.
Lucky you.
So you're going to think this one's about football, but it's not. So just bear with me.
Okay.
So the governor of Florida has given clearance, I think this week, for the Miami Dolphins to go full capacity of 65,000 fans at their home games.
What?
So guess how that would relate to WWE. What do you think?
Vince is going to do it.
So they're looking to now move WrestleMania, which was scheduled to be in California. Guess where?
Hollywood.
To Tampa somewhere. Tampa
Right.
in Florida.
Because
Sorry.
WrestleMania 37 was, they had like the logos WrestleMania like Hollywood.
Right. So if
Crap.
whatever state sort of opens up and allows massive gatherings of people during a global
That's what's
pandemic,
gonna be.
that's where Vince will go.
Yeah. So stay posted on that.
Yes. I have a couple other things. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. So obviously, we do the wrestling, which is kind of niche. We do figures, which is more niche. Here's another niche thing for you: video games, wrestling video games to be specific. WWE and 2K have just recently released an arcade-style game known as 2K Battlegrounds. If you're a basketball fan, you'll know NBA 2K Playgrounds. Similar graphics, at least, to that. That it's the opposite of the usual simulation game because 2K20 was terrible, so they're taking out
It's
a
more
year
like an
off
arcade kind of thing, rather than a simulation.
if anybody is familiar with WWE All-Stars, it's a little like that, but also not like that at all. But anyways,
Nice.
wrestlers
Well said.
are receiving big bonuses from that game, which is
That's good.
interesting, which makes sense because they signed the contracts and whatever thing.
Well, and that's great since Vince has taken over all their other
Yeah.
third-party
And
money.
this is the contracts with the video games is does come into play with the rosters a lot because like in 2K19 we didn't get, I think it was Nikki Cross and like Tommaso Ciampa because I don't think they could come to terms with a contract for the game because I don't think NXT people are getting paid as much for
Probably not.
that, right?
But it's an equal brand, though.
I guess not then because
It's
it
not.
came out in
Sorry,
2018.
just a joke.
Yeah, but all right. Do you have anything else?
Yes.
All right.
So this one actually might fit more into rumor than news, which is rare for us. Interesting. So is Mercedes Martinez out of Retribution?
Oh yeah, I saw
saw
a
this?
rumor something about
So
that.
the evidence is that I present to you. and
She
you
wasn't
can
on
decide.
on Raw.
They've WWE registered trademarks for T-Bar, Mace, Slapjack, and Reckoning, but not Retaliation. And I just wanted to note that I feel dumb even saying those ridiculous names out loud. But anyways, so I have 3 pieces of evidence, I guess. The second is the others have created Twitter accounts using their new names, while Martinez has not. And the
No,
third,
that makes sense because that's something they would either do or they'd be forced to do.
Ali posted on Twitter images giving reasons for each person joining Retribution, and Martinez was not included. So I would say,
Yeah, right. Yeah, because Brock Lesnar screwed everything up in the Money in the Bank ladder match last year. So I actually kind of forgot about that.
would you say that
And they brought it up.
that
and
is
then I got
pretty
sad.
overwhelming evidence that Martinez is
Yeah.
out?
Good for her because she just started a pretty decent heel run.
That's
So
exactly my next note was perfect. Bring her back to NXT.
yeah, that's good to hear.
Stack that division even further. And the last
Retribution
thing,
sucks.
and you watched it, and we got more confirmation on what it was. Ridge Holland injured on NXT. That will, poor guy.
I'm I don't wish injury on him, but honestly, I'm not super sad. I do feel bad for like the injury, but like
you're not a fan.
just
Neither
no,
of us are.
I don't
you're
like
really
him,
not
so
a
it's
fan.
honest. Yeah,
But it was not cool.
I literally watched, and then they replayed it multiple times, and I was just cringing the whole
it's
time.
not pleasant to watch. He's basically on the floor, and a 200 and whatever pound man jumps over the top ropes, and he's supposed to catch him.
Lorcan.
And his left
his
ankle
leg
just
buckles.
says, "No, I'm not doing this," and
Yeah.
just snaps. So yeah, it's a dislocated ankle and a ruptured tendon of some kind in there. So that's poor him. I mean, I'm not a fan, but nobody needs an injury like that for sure.
Yep. At Takeover 31, good show. We had
Oh, we're jumping into Takeover 31.
no,
Yeah.
not quite.
Oh,
But
sorry.
we had some interesting things going on at the commentary table.
Well, yeah,
if you'll remember, we had some stand-ins. If you looked closely at the announce table, which I did,
And boy, did you notice, and boy, did you mention it a lot.
I saw it. So, indie wrestler Casey Lennox played the role of Beth for the night. So Beth Phoenix and Wade Barrett, neither of them were there. Wade Barrett was played by
Where were they?
some Douglas guy. I can't see.
They weren't
it
really
doesn't
played
say.
by. It's not like they were.
No, but like
they were just sitting
portrayed.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still provided their audio though, and I just like noticed right away because the person who was standing in for Beth, completely different hair and doesn't even look like.
Do you know where they were?
And they're just mute.
That's what I want to know.
Who? The stand-ins?
No, where Beth and
It doesn't
Wade Barrett were.
say.
That's the thing I want to know. Like,
Yeah, I
get
know.
that
I
they
do
did it,
too.
but why?
Yeah, I know. It was weird.
It was strange.
It would be weird for Vic Joseph, who's screaming his head off while these two are mute.
Yeah, just sitting there like statues, basically.
And so, my last one is going to be, so Mustafa Ali was revealed as Retribution's leader on Raw. And then so
I actually checked that out.
I wrote in brackets, will he get a terrible new name, and what could it be? Any speculation if he'll get one?
I'm going to say he won't get one.
If he does, though, what do you think it would be?
Oh, I don't know. Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but because it would have to be significantly dumber than anything I could think of.
I need something terrible. Let me think.
Put us on the spot. This is not good radio.
I know, but I want to come up with something terrible.
Think about it while we're...
Okay.
So I did want to... I think the best spot to put it would be right here, which is to talk about NXT Takeover 31 before we get into anything else. And we won't go super... I'm not move for move or anything. I just sort of summarize the finishes to each match. And then we can just talk about our thoughts on each. And we'll do that. We'll do that now. All right, you're on board. So the show opens with a video package mentioning the Capital Wrestling Corporation with a letter that had Vince J. McMahon's name on it as president of the company. And it used the words professional wrestling in it, which was very surprising, right, to see. So this was further me saying, oh my goodness, remember last week how I talked about this is a shift and they're getting back into like more serious wrestling and not sports entertainment, and this is what I want. So that kind of helped me think that was still happening. But we'll get into that. So
I
thought,
thought we had the Performance Center rebranded.
That's funny.
Totally new look.
I just was about to say Jack is going to hopefully talk about what the look of the arena.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead.
So we had a really nice looking entrance stage. We had just some
did look a lot better,
LED trons around one of those big X's they still got. And so now they've got different looking barricades. They got like lines, all this sort of thing. It's some new design for the barricades. And then we got the plexiglass with the chain link
mesh
in front of it.
Chain link, you're right.
Just kind of like you see with the steel cage. There's a big chunk open on the one side, though, obviously for cameras. If they're going to leave a bit open there, I would at least like plexiglass so there's something for the people to be slammed into, but...
I did like it, and I liked that I told you that the LED boards didn't start all the way down on the floor,
yeah,
basically.
they just had like big LED boards going around the arena that were the Thunderdome style.
Not quite as bad to me, because they had actual people on the floor, and then
By Thunderdome, I just mean virtual fans.
Yes, by then the screens start a little bit further back, so they weren't dominating the background in every shot.
No, it looked good.
I thought it was better than the Thunderdome,
it was a good
to be
look.
honest.
And NXT, this is exactly what I kind of wanted just in the back of my mind for NXT. Something bigger than Full Sail, but
still, it looked good.
Still keeping their kind of small look.
Right.
It's like not the Thunderdome, obviously, because Thunderdome's in the
but
Orlando
it's an equal
Amway Center.
third brand. It should be in the Thunderdome. Sorry,
we
we say that people because they try and tell us that all the brands are the same, and the evidence.
And now 205 Live is there too.
But it's not a fourth brand.
No.
But they do try and act like they'll literally say that NXT is just the third brand when it's not, and I don't want it to be. So that's why
Survivor Series.
If you're new to us in wrestling, that's why we make that joke constantly.
Yeah.
Anyways, the first match, the opener, was Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano for the the North American title.
Championship. How dare you forget that is a beautiful title.
I was going to say TNT because I just who knows. The finish came when Gargano nearly knocking Priest off the apron and onto the steps, but Priest hits Gargano with a kick. Gargano comes back with 2 super kicks to the face. Priest blocks the one final beat DDT off the ropes, and then Priest hits a was a draping reckoning, was it not?
Yeah,
it landed
looked
on a
weird,
pretty
but
steep
also
angle.
looked pretty nice.
And that was for the pinfall win, just under 20 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah.
And what did you think about it?
I thought it was a good match, great pairing. Both very talented. I'm a fan of both. Johnny Gargano needs to be a face again. I can't stress this enough. But still, it was a good match. I just think, especially on TakeOver, he wrestles so good as a babyface. It's just part of his dynamic in a match.
It's funny because my first point was going to be that I thought it was an interesting dynamic since on the surface, Priest looks like a heel, right? Like, honestly, if you just saw a snapshot of each one and said who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, Priest looks like the heel, Gargano looks like the babyface, but they're wrestling the entire opposite. But I also thought it was a really good match and a really, a nice way to open a show.
I think it would have been better, even if they were both face. I think it would just be better, because I think Gargano's just so good. Even if Priest is playing a tweener, I think that could work in his favor.
He kind of is, I guess.
Right? And Gargano is just such a good babyface. I think it helps his matches. It helps basically everything he does, and I don't know. He
Well,
needs to
and
get
they
back to
also
it at some
seem
point.
to help support you. They always seem to be able to find heels, right? Like there's heels
Right.
everywhere, and baby faces are hard. I said it last week. I think they're just taking a break, and eventually he'll probably
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah, but it
Um,
is easy to find a heel. Like if you look at the women's division, that you had Shirai, who was the top babyface, and then turned heel. You had Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae both turning heel.
well, almost every wrestler you ever hear interviewed says they much prefer to play a heel because it's just so you can do kind of
Right.
fun, interesting stuff. It's a lot easier, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I have really come around on Priest for sure. I thought this match was really good, and when doesn't Johnny Gargano deliver on a pay-per-view, right? Like he's awesome every time, basically.
Yeah.
So that takes us to the low point on the show for me. I don't know. I think you probably agree with me.
What was it?
Match-wise, there's a segment that I liked less, but Kushida and
Oh
Velveteen
yeah,
Dream.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and they kept reminding us of Kushida's new serious attitude, and boy were they right. He was wearing jeans.
He was. He's serious now.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Intense.
Totally.
So Dream comes out as Doc Brown, which we didn't even pick up on for a while. I
Well,
felt
Nate
bad
noticed
'cause
his gray hair, and I
Right,
was just like,
but-
I was like, it's probably some scientist thing.
as a kid in the 80s
I was
who
sort
loved
of
that movie,
right.
I missed it. Disappointing.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know what the point was.
You
It's not like
failed
it's
us.
mocking Kushida really. It's almost like you're joining in. So I don't know if they're trying to say it was mind
Oh,
games, but
Because
is
he
it?
does the Back to the Future thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Oh, there you go. So the end comes with Dream goes up top. Kushida meets him there and takes him down with an armbar. Kushida slaps on the hoverboard lock on the left arm. Dream managed to get his foot on the bottom rope, but Kushida rolled through while holding onto the hoverboard lock. When Dream tried the Dream Valley Driver, Kushida continued to hold onto the hoverboard, which was kind of cool, and Dream tapped out to give Kushida the win. Kushida continues the attack after the match. You know why?
Because he's serious and he's wearing jeans.
He's aggressive and intense now, don't you know?
You know a wrestler's serious when they wear jeans. So I guess Dean Ambrose is serious. I know Stone Cold.
No, because you have to wear jeans on the lower half and then a Back to the Future outfit on the top half. That's when you know you're serious.
Sorry, Ambrose.
By far the weakest match on the card, I thought, but not horrible, right? Like it wasn't awesome, but I wouldn't say it was a bad match.
Doesn't exactly meet the takeover standard.
No, I'm just not interested in Kushida, and I know you're not either. It's not that we don't want to be, we're just not.
And Velveteen Dream has done better things, and I think he can do better things.
And Dream, well, we've talked a lot about him on the show, right? I would prefer they would just use someone else, but they're using him, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Decent match, not great.
There's probably some people who are unhappy with the Dream being on TV. I honestly don't care too much.
There's some questionable behavior in his past that they're
Yeah,
saying
but
has been
It
investigated.
hasn't been proven. I'm
we're
not
not
saying he's
sure.
been proven innocent, but I'm saying he hasn't been proven guilty
Neither,
either.
right? But my thing is until we
But
find
yeah,
out,
I think he should
could use
definitely
other
be
talent.
laying low.
But anyways.
I agree.
So we move into the next match, which was for the Cruiserweight Championship, and that's Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Scott.
Yep.
The finish to this one came when the action went to the apron. Escobar blocked a suplex attempt, and there was a spot where Scott was trying to do a move, but then I forget what it was. He was supposed to hit his head on the steel ring post, like,
Oh yeah, it looked weird.
and he barely, to me, it
I
looked like he
remember.
barely hit it. Anyways, Escobar then hit a double underhook into a knee that hit Scott in the face. That actually looked pretty cool, and that was good enough for the pinfall. So the idea was he crashes into the ring post, kinda, and then takes a blow to the head with that finisher, quote
like the,
unquote, that he used.
Fairy tale ending into the knee
Yes,
rather than a face buster.
you are correct. That's
Double
exactly what it was.
underhook and then onto the knee.
I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah, it was good.
Honestly,
I feel like it was really good, but I think could have been better just because they've been building this feud so strong, especially with that face-to-face interview.
yeah, that was a cool interview. 2
Oh, and I
weeks ago or
forgot to
whatever that
mention
was.
in the arena, we had the combination of the virtual fans and the
Real fans.
yeah,
I
or like
mentioned
the. Oh, did you? I forgot.
NXT
but yeah,
people.
so we had the NXT people. So we had a bit of both, and it was a good mix. Created a good sound.
I honestly thought that like the end wasn't executed as well as it
No,
should have
it
been.
did look a little off, and like they were trying to play off that he's like basically knocked out.
But I thought it was a really cool match. Honestly, if it weren't for some other things on the show, it might have been a show stealer on a weaker pay-per-view. You know what I mean? It was that good.
Yeah.
Swerve needs to develop his character a bit more, but in the ring, he's really cool. He does some pretty...
And he needs some kick pads.
Yes. So that takes us into the NXT Women's Championship, Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. So these two had an amazing match in Toronto last year on SummerSlam weekend, right? We were there.
Yes,
it was my
we
match.
were.
It was my match of the night for that show. Jack liked the main event, I think, but you admit that match was amazing too.
I enjoyed the main event.
Yes.
They just put it on their YouTube channel too.
Nice.
The full match, and I watched it, and I enjoyed it again.
So I was really looking forward to this match based on what we saw last year. The finish again came when Gargano, after trying to be the ref, which was I don't know.
I swear, if they had ended it like that, since they already did the thing with Bailey and Sasha,
right.
I would have been so mad.
Well, that's their
especially because it's NXT.
Then it's official policy. You just throw a ref jersey on. It happened twice then, right? But it wasn't successful.
And then if they did it on SmackDown or the pay-per-view, then they could do it on NXT. Hey, equal brand.
That's right. It's right. It's equal third brand. So he grabbed the NXT Women's title and sort of sneakily got it to Candice. While Gargano took the referee's shirt off, LeRae hit Shirai with the women's title while the actual ref was distracted. She covered, the referee counted, and Shirai kicked out, which was a
and Candice
nice
was sad.
near fall. LeRae went up top. Shirai met her there and hit a Spanish fly off the top, which I love a Spanish fly. That looked super cool. Shirai then hit the over the moonsault, which I actually didn't know it was called that somehow.
The what?
Over the moonsault.
Oh.
You didn't know either? Then I don't feel so bad. Off the top for the pinfall win to retain her title. Thoughts?
Fine. The scurry thing was stupid. Didn't measure up to the Toronto match, and I'm not even biased on that.
The fake ref part wasn't my favorite, but I thought it was excellent. All the stuff at the end kind of took away from it a little bit, I think, for me too.
Yeah, and I just like the Toronto one better. Not even just because we were there, but just because I think it was objectively a better match.
My next line was literally not as good as the Toronto match, but a strong match nonetheless, right? That I enjoyed. And then we get this. I found an interesting choice. These two things in succession, but we'll get to them. So as Io is sort of posing post-match with the belt, Toni Storm appears on the screen and cuts a promo.
She said she's back in NXT, and I'm just like, if you're returning, you'd be returning to NXT UK, technically speaking.
So she does this kind of out of nowhere, but this isn't the person who's been teased to arrive for weeks.
No, it's not the person in the vignette.
Because we find out immediately after this who that is, right? So they sort of stack two debuts.
It is.
Interesting. So then someone is on a motorcycle driving around, and the rider comes onto the stage, removes her helmet, and it's Ember Moon looking like she just walked off the set of a post-apocalyptic movie.
And spoiler for the next NXT, her theme is terrible.
Yes, we'll get there. Don't worry. I've never been a huge fan of Ember Moon. I actually think she's really good in the ring and has a cool look.
I remember when she was in NXT and I liked her and you didn't.
Because anytime they let her speak, she lets me down. She looks cool, she can wrestle, and then I just...
Is that why you enjoyed the NXT opener so
There's
much?
just a huge disconnect between how she looks and carries herself and then the character she plays when she speaks. And she needs to turn heel or, I don't know, for me personally.
No, I agree.
But she'll have good matches, so that's the main thing. Her finisher is spectacular for people, but it kind of bugs me.
Yeah, they did actually, just not to say too much, but they did actually do a pretty decent setup to it on NXT. So
it looks cool when she executes it. It just sometimes makes the opponent look kind of silly because they have to stand in a certain position.
Yeah, it's just all about the setup. It's all about the setup.
That being said, she's not bad. It adds depth to the division, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine. There it is. FNS Wrestling.
Ooh,
it's fine.
We seriously, if we ever get t-shirts, that's the first one.
All right, we get to the main event.
Yes.
And this was a war, this match.
Wait, what was it?
I'm going to say it right off the top. This is This is in my match of the year contention for me personally. Yeah, it was really
good. So good, in fact, and so just they battered the crap out of each other. Both of them came out with injuries.
This is the type of wrestling I really like. This was
great.
Plucked from New Japan
just
sort of thing.
And to prove that Kyle O'Reilly can be a singles guy.
So I
really
couldn't even
did prove that.
Normally I don't like to give my opinion until I've done speaking about the match, but I just can't contain it. This match was amazing.
It was really good.
So that was what I was thinking, just sort of off topic for a second, was another bonus episode, maybe do a year in review where we come up with some categories and some nominees and then do a show
we could do maybe best solos match, best singles match.
I got some ideas.
We could watch all the nominees.
We don't need to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it. But if you like the idea, we can talk about it.
Yes.
All right. So this was amazing mat wrestling, great striking, blood, amazing selling. The way O'Reilly sold that spin kick to the stomach was amazing.
At the end, Balor was bleeding real bad from his mouth. And I think it was real. I think it turned out to be real, but it looked like a blood capsule.
Yeah, he broke his jaw in 2 places.
Yeah.
So it was pretty real.
Yes.
So the finish came when Kyle slapped on the Achilles lock as he wrenched back on the left foot of Balor. Kyle got a hold of both Balor's legs and wrenched him back on them, and Balor was screaming in pain. Balor teased tapping out, but then he grabbed the bottom rope. Kyle kicks the back of Balor's leg. Balor tripped Kyle, leading to a double foot stomp to the ribs or liver, which he's been working on for quite a while, and Kyle's been selling amazing, which the announcers kept mentioning, right, as well. Kyle charged in with a high knee. I think this was the jawbreaker, maybe. Then a German suplex, and Balor came back with another double foot stomp to the ribs. Balor went up top and hit the coup de grace for the win. Amazing.
Interesting heel Balor winning with the coup de grace he's been using the 1916.
A long match, but it flew by. Apparently, it was even shortened possibly a bit because the two of them were hurt. So they apparently there's rumor that they went to the finish a bit faster.
I could only imagine then.
2 amazing workers given time and freedom to just put on an amazing match, and
really worth watching if you've never seen a Kyle O'Reilly singles match before, which I have not. Well, he did challenge Pete Dunne for the UK title once, but I mean like a legit one, like Ring of Honor, or like New Japan or something.
This was incredible. This is how takeover main events are supposed to feel. I love this whole show, to be honest. However, it's not over yet, because, and this is the part that really annoyed me, you blocked it out of your memory. You look like. So while Balor and Kyle show respect in the ring to each other, Ridge Holland, shows up with Cole on his shoulders and dumps him over the barricade onto the floor.
And he's dead.
Cole's clothes are kind of ripped in a ridiculous fashion, and he's seriously injured. I can't express to you how much I did not like this.
You didn't like it.
But this was an amazing pay-per-view top to bottom. I felt like it was old NXT back again.
Until Ridge Holland shows up.
And then the lasting image they leave for me is this.
Sports entertainment.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I pretty much am going to eliminate this from my memory. And
I
just love
to.
this pay-per-view because I did. So as you can likely tell, I love this show. This felt like
I hate Ridge Holland.
NXT from its heyday for me. 5 matches, all of them good, several great. A short pay-per-view with amazing wrestling. This was a show of professional wrestling, not sports entertainment, and got back to NXT's roots. And I just am wiping out that final scene and remembering everything else from this because it was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good show. I really enjoyed it, and I hate Ridge Holland.
Yeah, that's great. I don't love the word hate, you know that, right? Like, the man just blew his entire leg apart. Give him a break.
That was before he blew his
You
leg.
cannot like him.
I do.
There you go. All right, so that's wrapping up an amazing pay-per-view.
Yep. If you got the network, go check it out if you haven't watched already, because if you haven't watched already, you're missing out.
It's worth it. For sure.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into our first weekly episode review, which is AEW Dynamite. So that's where Jackson is the detail man, and I'm just a general commenter.
Sir. We had coming into this, we knew we were gonna get a tag match: Hager and Jericho versus Chaos Project, which is Luther and Serpentico.
I was not expecting that to be a main event, but anyways, we'll get there.
We were gonna get Brian Cage versus Will Hobbs for the FTW title. We were gonna get Big Swole versus Serena Deeb, and then we got some other stuff as well. So we kicked off with the 30 years of Chris Jericho promo package because this is his anniversary.
Right. This was not whole show, but good chunks of it were dedicated to Jericho.
Many superstars share their favorite Jericho memory. Stars of the AEW roster, that is. And it was a nice montage for Jericho. I
thought it was really cool too. I thought the music underneath was
They used
good.
all the footage they could get. Obviously, they couldn't get the giant portion of his career, which was spent in
No, but they did
Incorporated.
acknowledge a whole bunch of wrestlers from other...
No, right. Yeah, like they showed his Japan and some WCW stuff.
Which I thought was cool. They're willing to sort of... Chris Jericho transcends like one brand, one company, right? So it was cool that they were willing to get people from other companies to say things. Anyways, carry on.
So we have Taz and Ricky Starks on commentary, and that's because our opening match is Brian Cage defending the FTW World Championship against Will Hobbs. I kind of find it humorous that they're defending a non-existent title.
A title that they just decided he was going to have.
Yeah, or like it's not even like a sanctioned title.
No.
But yeah, so just
JR, I had a note that JR was awkward
powerhouses.
at some point. I don't know what he said, but I had Starks and Taz on commentary, and JR is awkward.
Nice.
No doubt.
So we start with a striking exchange, a shoulder tackle exchange, and a clothesline by Hobbs. Takes down Cage. We have a suplex stalemate. Both are trying to hit the suplex.
Suplex stalemate, nice.
A crossbody by Hobbs for 2. Punches in the corner by Hobbs. Cage counters into an electric chair facebuster for 2. Shoulders to the midsection in the corner by Cage. Strike exchange. A roll up and the roll through drop kick by Cage. Release fall away slam by Cage, followed by a standing moonsault for 2. He did like a fall away.
It's crazy.
Slam, but
this guy's like, if you don't know Cage, he's like 6'1", 265 pounds of solid muscle.
He's like a muscular Keith Lee. Well, no, that's Will Hobbs.
Doing a standing backflip.
Yeah.
Pretty nuts.
He did like the fall away slam, but instead of falling back, he just stood there and chucked him.
Yes. Fall away drop.
Your favorite move, chin lock by Cage.
Yes.
Hobbs versus a corner attack. Clotheslines followed by a jumping shoulder tackle by Hobbs. A scoop slam by Hobbs for 2. Randy Orton style.
Head Orton power slam, yep.
Sit out spine buster by Hobbs. Pump handle X Factor by Cage.
You respect D'Lo Brown.
Okay.
Just kidding. Sorry, I love D'Lo Brown.
I'm surprised we never ended up getting that D'Lo Brown Elite that came around
someday.
A while ago.
That guy's got a dream.
F5 by Cage for near fall. I hate to say this, but not as good as Brock Lesnar's.
F10.
That was an F5.
I know. But I think it's just because he couldn't get Hobbs around for the F10, because Hobbs is a big dude.
Yeah.
Anyways.
German suplex by Hobbs. German suplex to Hobbs.
Love this.
Hobbs pops back up and hits a German suplex of his own. Double clothesline, and both are down.
Big double clothesline.
Yep. Spine buster by Hobbs for 2. Hobbs misses a frog splash. The landing was weird. And then a drill claw by Cage for the pin. And Brian Cage retains his FTW World Championship.
I really hope they keep protecting that drill claw, because that thing looks like should not be kicking out of that thing. It looks awesome.
Yeah, looks dope. So,
what did you think of this?
I thought it was a good match. A nice big man battle.
I really liked it. I thought it built and got, like, by the end, I was like, man,
Hobbs
this is
did
good.
not look bad in defeat.
No, not at all. He was, and they're building him, I think, and he looked really good.
Yep. So then we got a Taz promo. He tells Ricky and Cage not to attack Hobbs yet. Says Hobbs was impressive and gives him 2 options. He can either join Team Taz or get his butt kicked by Cage and Starks.
Yep.
And then out comes Darby Allin. Team Taz exit the ring, and Taz threatens Darby and calls him a rotten punk, which is a very not nice thing to say.
I thought Taz was kind of awkward in this.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which is weird for him, and usually he's great. But I'd watch this if they make this tag match, right? Like
maybe he was afraid because he knew he was going to say something not nice to Darby.
Hobbs and Allen against Cage and Starks. I'd watch that.
I'll take it.
Sign me up.
Although I think next week, or no, because are we still getting that 6-man tag with the Archer and Team Taz? Because that's what this is supposed to be. No, but then Archer got COVID.
I'm not sure, but he's back for
next week. So maybe we'll get that after the title match.
Could be.
I don't know. We'll see. So then we get Slash congratulates Jericho on 30 years of pro wrestling. We see more of these segments later. Slash, then Dennis Miller, then Hiroshi Tanahashi and JPW.
The John Cena of New Japan.
Yes. Ted Irvine.
That's Jericho's father.
And
former
Bully
NHL player.
Ray.
Yep.
Ring of Honor star.
An Impact and WWE.
And ECW.
Everywhere but AEW star, I guess.
And WCW.
Yes.
So then got Lance Archer vignette, talks about the match he had with Mox and JPW. Says Mox has been playing with Kingston Butcher. They may be badass, but Archer is more badass and better.
Yeah, I thought this is better than his live promos.
Yes.
But still not great, right? Like I don't know. I don't think everyone has to speak, especially if you have a manager and you look like this guy does.
Yes.
But that's just me.
That is fair.
He's a monster.
Yep. FTR versus the Hybrid 2 AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Brush with Greatness 20-minute time limit challenge.
And I am just thinking this is going to be fun. I love FTR, and I think Angelico, I was hoping they were going to showcase him in this a little bit, which I kind of feel they did, right?
That's disrespectful of Jack Evans.
Jack Evans is fine, but I'm a big Angelico fan, and he gets no love so far. But anyways, go ahead.
Neither does Jack Evans. They're like the forgotten two.
Yep.
The unappreciated.
So much depth in the tag team
The unappreciated
division.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're opposite NXT, whereas like they just don't have teams, and then AEW has so many teams that they just like.
Yeah, the Hybrid 2 that are a really good team. They're just
who would be at the top of NXT?
Talent isn't right, but they're not.
Yeah, they'd be at the top of NXT.
They're below the mid card.
Right.
So go ahead.
Young Bucks watching on backstage monitors, and I just noted that we haven't seen TH2 in a while. Primarily Dark, even, and barely even that, I would think. We start with Jack Evans and Dax Harwood. We got roll-ups by both. Angelico tags in. Top rope crossbody for 2. Cash drags out Dax for a huddle. I actually wrote buttle for some reason. If that's even a word.
Yes, this is I have choreographed senton onto 3 outside.
Yes. FTR attempt to leave. They grab their belts and catch Angelico's crossbody attempt, and Evans hits a senton to take out FTR.
Right. Oh yeah, that's what it was.
I wish it was something cooler, but
I'm generally not a fan of where 2 or 3 guys get together to form a base or more people.
But at least they're standing there because they were catching Angelico.
Yeah, it's true.
So where am I? Yep. Jack Evans is legal again. Body slam by Evans. Cash crotches Evans when he attempts to do a top rope dive. Dax beats up Evans on the outside. Evans crotched on post and knee swung in the post. Cash does a figure 4 leg lock around the post, targeting the knee or leg.
Yep, they're starting to work
FTR continued to target Evans' knee during the commercial break. I think we actually got picture-in-picture there. Shin breaker by Cash, who is now legal. Evans hits an enziguri. Dax tags in, and a dragon screw leg whip by Dax. Half crab by Dax. Sunset flip by Evans for 2. Cash tags in, and Angelico hot tag.
Yeah.
Angelico gets a double submission on FTR. Jack Evans tags back in, which I thought was an odd choice.
Same.
Stomp back suplex combo by TH2, which looked cool. And Angelico tags back in. Assisted 450 by TH2, which looked cool.
Yes.
Dax saves Cash from a double team attempt. Dax tags in. German suplex by Dax into a dragon suplex by Cash. And
nice.
Angelico breaks a pin. Evans tries to fight back, and Angelico tries to help. Jack Evans botches a dive, sort of.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was.
I don't either, but it wasn't great.
I'll trust my notes.
No, and didn't he? Oh yeah, it was. He does a moonsault instead, right? He does
right. Oh yeah, I remember now.
He did like a
corkscrew.
And
I think it's called a spiral.
Dax
tap.
sold it like his foot hit him in the head, but it didn't. And then he immediately did a second rope moonsault. That's what I remember.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Second rope moonsault for 2. Yep, there we go. Cash
that was
breaks
the recovery,
the pin.
yes.
Damagiri by Angelico to Cash. Angelico misses a topic on Hilo. And Cash hits a gory drop on the apron, kind of like the gory bomb position, but then just drops him face first on the apron.
Cool.
I believe this is called a rolling capoeira kick by Evans.
Awesome. I
believe Chad Gable and Tyler Bate do that move as well. Sorry, I just got one of those random calls, like, people call your phone to tell you that you're
going to jail for tax fraud
right,
or whatever.
Even though I'm 13 and I don't have taxes of any kind. I'm going to jail.
So you say,
guys. Oh yeah.
Allegedly.
Guys, I gotta come clean with you. I've
tax cheat.
I've got a bunch of unpaid taxes for 200 years now.
Broadcasting from prison next week.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure out some way to. Yeah, we'll use
FaceTime.
Skype. We'll use Skype. Yeah, because I'm going to jail because I've not been paying my taxes for the past 200 years.
All right.
Sorry I didn't tell you earlier.
What are you gonna do? Okay, we'll forgive you.
All right, back to the match. So Lariat by Dax, Tiger Driver by Dax for 2, or Tyler Driver if you're a Tyler Bate fan.
Yep, I am.
Cash tags in, Powerplex by FTR for the win. And I was losing my damn mind. I love that move. It's a superplex and then a splash. It is so simple, and it's just so fantastic.
Classic FTR.
I just love it. It's
great match.
So clean.
Love FTR.
And they retain the titles.
I was wondering if Evans actually tweaked his leg or something, because he seemed to be having a bit of trouble. He was selling it too, so maybe he's just selling it well, but anyways, I thought maybe something was off with him. And Angelico got a bit of a showcase, and I think people would love him if he gets a chance.
Yeah, and I love the Powerplex.
FTR have great matches with everybody, and they're never hurt by looking like the matches are close, right? That's what's cool about them. They can make everyone they wrestle look really good, because they're like, gimmicks the wrong word, but you know what I mean, is that they use heel tactics, and they're just a little bit more efficient to beat everybody. So everyone else can still look good. Instead, it's the opposite of the Good Brothers I talk about.
Right, and the Young Bucks, I think, could kind of do a similar thing. Obviously their wrestling style is completely different, but I think they could get anyone over. And they came close against Private Party and still won or lost. I think it wouldn't be both teams would look good.
So they're peaking for me when they first came. FTR, I mean, to to AEW, they weren't performing as quite I thought they would, and now every match is awesome.
Yeah.
What's next?
So we show Young Bucks backstage. Same segment. They hit a double super kick on the poor cameraman who's just doing his job.
Yes, carrying
And
on.
then the Tron shows FTR in hot dog suits, and best friends walk out with the same image on shirts because they are calling FTR weenies.
Right.
Trent calls them weenies, and best friends are number one contenders.
Apparently, Nick Jackson's not actually there.
What do you mean?
He's been off for a while, which is why Young Bucks aren't like fully on screen, and it's just like his foot or like somebody else's foot in the tights or whatever is what I've heard.
But it showed him there.
He was there this time, so I guess he's back. They were saying in all the other ones where it was just like a foot and Matt Jackson that it wasn't actually Nick. I don't know.
Huh.
But anyways.
Oh, what the hell just happened to my tab? Sorry. Okay, we got it back. Best friends. Nope, I said that already. Alright, so we got a title match next week. FTR missed a cheap shot and best friends attack. FTR escape, best friends raise the belt, and best friends hug. Yay.
They touched the belts, though. Don't do
That's
that.
the curse.
Kiss of death.
Yeah. Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, anything.
Stanley Cup. Any of
Stanley
those
Cup,
major
yeah.
things.
Yep. Never touch it before you win it.
That's right.
Never. It's always bad.
Science.
Yes. Or just a non-existent curse.
Superstition. Go
No,
ahead.
It does exist.
Keep
though,
her moving.
'cause-
We got lots of stuff.
So we got MJF congratulating Jericho on 30 years in pro wrestling. Talks about how happy he was to meet Jericho after Double or Nothing 2019, their first pay-per-view.
Yeah, sort of only kind of in character, which was interesting, right?
Says he's proud of Jericho and is inspired by him. And
Yep.
then we got Shaq. Well, yay. Then we got Gene Simmons. I don't know who that is. Don Callis. I do know who that is.
I just kept going Rockstar with all the ones you didn't know, right?
Yes.
Rockstar.
Don Callis, Impact person.
Yes, Canadian.
Lars Ulrich. Don't know who that is. And
Metallica.
Bang Bang DDP.
Yep.
Yay.
Yeah, it was
Then we got a dog collar match, hype package, recaps Dark Order attack, Brody Lee promo, and Cody accepting the challenge. Then Arn Anderson speaks on the match, says Brody challenged Cody because Brody knew Cody would accept without thinking, which is fair. Says Cody will regain the title. We'll
You
see
ready
if he's
for
right.
my thoughts?
Sure.
Sorry, Cody Rhodes. Every single shot of Cody in this whole recap annoys me. He's so overly dramatic. He seems
His
like
promo
a guy.
last week was pretty overdramatic.
He feels like a guy that has surrounded himself with people who just tell him everything he does is amazing. And that I don't know what it is. I need him to turn heel because then I'll love him. But this, I don't get it. People love him and think he's he's like the cornerstone of this company and stuff. I don't get it. I really don't.
I'm praying
but anyways.
Cody never finds our podcast.
I know, but it's just me. Like maybe everyone's right and I'm just an idiot, but that's okay. I hear only love for him everywhere. And in this, I want the heel to win so badly.
It's probably sports entertainment.
I want
fans.
Brody Lee to kill him again in 3 minutes or whatever it was. Anyways, let's see what happened.
Cody accompanied by Brandy and Arn. Brody Lee is accompanied by John Silver and Anna Jay. We get their introductions. Guess who's in the crowd? It's Greg Valentine. He competed in the first dog collar match.
I did not know he was still alive. I feel so bad. There was a small part of me that was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing how
he had the
wrestlers
first dog collar match against Junkyard Dog at a WrestleMania or something else.
So it was relevant.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Lee accidentally takes out Silver on the apron, and sound of the chain is already annoying, and Silver was bleeding from said accidental
Oh my God, you are my son. I have the sound of the chain is already annoying.
Yes.
In my note.
Sound of chain is already annoying.
Yeah,
That's literally what I wrote.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. 2 clotheslines by Cody don't take down Lee because Lee is a big person and Cody is not.
Right. Fair.
Cody attempted springboard and was yanked off by Lee because chain around neck, and you pull on chain, he fall.
There was a lot of those spots. Yes. I guess it does make sense, obviously, but I don't know. I felt like there was a half dozen times where
Lee
they did
face plants Cody on apron. Lee makes Silver take a seat, and Silver takes a drop kick from Cody.
Immediately, yeah. Brody Lee's bossing him around, obviously, and forces him to sit so that he'll stop screwing up or whatever, and he immediately takes a running drop kick to the face. Looked pretty cool.
Might I just add, I think this should have been the main event, not a tag match, but okay. Where am I now? I forgot.
Use your cursor, man. Click on the things you read, and then you know where you were.
Okay, Lee goes into ring and drags Cody in. DDT by Lee on the chain. Lee orders Jay to take Silver away. I promise that was not on purpose. That rhyme. Lee grinds the chain on face of Cody. Cody's bleeding bad.
Yes. What a surprise.
Shock count 1. Just
Another
kidding, 0.
right? Because what's the most dramatic thing you could possibly do?
Break your leg.
Bleed like crazy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he does it every match. Sorry. Carry on.
He should have done with the blonde hair, because then at least his hair gets red, a la Dusty Rhodes or Ric Flair.
Yes.
Black hair.
Bleeding is
Black
his
hair
gimmick.
bad, blonde hair good, brown hair also good. Black hair bad.
For blood, you mean?
And in general.
Oh, okay.
Lee scratches at Cody's face because I
on
just think it
Cody.
looks so
Yeah, okay.
unauthentic.
Sorry. I thought you just meant in general. I'm like,
No.
wow, that's not nice.
Cody.
You mean on Cody. Gotcha.
Yes. Just Cody.
Clarified.
Just Cody, no one else. Chop and clubbing blow by Lee. Cody slides between legs of Lee and uses chain for a creative low blow. I enjoyed that spot.
Yeah, that was okay.
It was funny.
Yep.
Cody uses chain for a Russian leg sweep, a la the kendo stick with
Yes.
Sandman,
Yes. Good.
Big Dick Johnson.
Yep. Good old ECW.
Lee exits ring, but Cody yanks him into apron. Yet more typos from
Nice.
ya boy. Suicide dive by Cody. Cody yanked into barricade by Lee multiple times, and this looked really cool. Lee sets up the timekeeper's table at ringside. Lee throws chairs in the ring, table near apron. Both are on apron. Cody gets a chokeslam. Cody pulls Lee off of apron and catches him with cutter. This looked cool.
It did.
Cody hits package power driver through table during commercial
Also,
break. Why did you have to do that during commercial break?
They need to do a better job of communicating when their commercial breaks are to the people in the ring, because I agree. That was a super cool move, and full disclosure, we usually fast forward through commercials, even if it's picture-in-picture,
Yes.
because there's not supposed to be interesting stuff. That's why. But anyways,
Yes,
carry on.
they were lucky I even caught that.
It's supposed to be a rest hold or like basic offense, not a package pile driver
Or hell, even comeback offense.
through a table. Sorry.
Yes.
Carry on.
Both are bleeding profusely now.
Yes.
Not just Cody,
Can confirm.
because Brody didn't want to be left out from the dramatic fun.
That's right.
You know. Gourd Buster on chain by Cody. That's where you have him in the suplex, but then you just drop him on his stomach, and he hits his face off thing.
He does.
Hits Lee in the back with chain, punches Lee with the chain on his fist, chokes Lee with the chain, and then I wrote uncooperative chain.
So many punches with chain is one of my notes.
That is accurate. Lee smashed repeatedly in the turnbuckle. Cody sent to outside. Lee yanks Cody into black hole slam, which looked cool. I refuse to call it a boss man
were you
slam.
talking
Slam.
just a second ago about the chain getting stuck on the ring post?
I think.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Uncooperative chain.
Yeah, it got stuck on the Cody struggled to get off of the ring post.
Hey, Dad, guess what?
What?
Lee punches Cody with chain multiple times.
Yep.
Lee tries to throw a chair at Arn. He just whips it at him and almost hit him, too.
Oh, yeah. Up the
I'd love
ramp.
to see what would have happened if that had actually happened.
There's a good chunk of my notes where every third note is more chain punches, more chain punches, more chain punches.
So Arn comes into the ring, and Alex Reynolds runs in and eats a spine buster immediately.
Yeah, that was...
And Lee hits Arn with the chain to the gut, and he falls down.
That's all an old man
Fun
can take.
fact, I actually found out that Reynolds and Silver have been on SmackDown before, former WWE superstars. They dropped out to Heavy Machinery once. Johnny Silver and Alex Keaton.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
That's funny.
And I'd actually watched it, just like John Silver versus Heavy Machinery. Just imagine
of
the
course.
height difference.
Yes.
Right. Gotta make Heavy Machinery look big. Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Cody gets a roll up for a 2. Cody punches Lee with chain. Shocker. Guess what he did next? Cody chokes Lee with chain.
Hey.
Which
Diverse offense.
Not really. He already did it.
I know.
Hits a moonsault for 2. Lee hits a boot and a thrust kick. Crossroads, and Lee kicks out immediately at 1. Eat that, Cody. You suck. Cody attempts a vertebreaker. 2 thrust kicks by Lee. First one botched because of chain. Uncooperative chain once again.
Yes.
Powerbomb by Lee for 2. Cody yanks Lee into ring post on the outside. Superplex by Lee. Both men down. Cody slams Lee's face on mat twice. Release Dragon suplex by Lee. Almost looks like a half and half. If Excalibur didn't call that, I would have called it half and
Yeah,
half.
he comes in handy clarifying.
Cody
some moves.
counters Discus Lariat with float over into a final cut. Cody wraps train around face of Lee with repeated bionic elbows. Crossroads by Cody for the win, and Cody's the TNT champion, and I cried inside.
I have great more Cody every week.
Yay!
You're
It was a
you're
good
kind of
match.
anti-Cody now too, eh?
It was a good match, though. I was actually not expecting too much from this, and this was actually somewhat.
So
good.
you were saying you were enjoying it during the match, so I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to. But I did not. I found this pretty boring, to be honest.
I thought there were some decent spots. One they did during commercial break.
Part of the problem is I had just watched O'Reilly and Balor not long before that, and then watching this
fair.
was so there was some cool moves, but there's so much basic stuff in between, and it's so slow. And Cody bleeds. It's so often it's lost all meaning. The chain caused as many problems as it did cool spots, I thought. And I just clearly, Brody Lee was just a placeholder while Cody was off doing Hollywood, which annoys me a little bit too. Because as soon as Cody's back, he's back on TV every week.
He was a placeholder, wasn't he?
I'm not.
How dare they?
I'm not the first to suggest this. I forget who on another podcast, so I always forget. Is he Triple H of AEW? Right, in certain ways. Anyways.
So Lee was just a placeholder. That is, wow, AEW.
He
come
was,
on.
right?
That is disappointing. Tony Schiavone interview. Cody thanks everyone. You're welcome. Cody says he won't turn heel just because he has dark hair. Well, you should.
He will. He will.
Over dramatic, blah blah blah. TNT title match next week, and I guess who walks out? It's Pac. Nope, it's Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I had Cody
I
so
tasty.
passionate. We'll defend next week.
Yeah.
Imagine
I think
it were Pac.
if it's Orange Cassidy's gonna walk out, Pac should just obliterate it and be like, "I'm challenging for that title. I want it. Thank you."
We will celebrate the day Pac returns.
Yes, I will.
And-
I will host a party.
Yep.
And nobody will be there.
We're not allowed to invite anyone anyways, so.
Yeah. So we got more peeps announced for the tournament. We got Wardlow, Colt Cabana, boom boom,
Oh boy.
and Hangman Page. Yay.
Yep.
So Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, both in the tournament. This is interesting.
Think they're going to be on opposite sides by any chance? If there's a bracket, I'm guessing they are.
Maybe.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Kenny,
sometimes predictable doesn't mean bad, right? Like a lot of people complain even when sometimes WWE stuff is fine. Predictable doesn't always mean bad. Because
it's
if
just
nothing's
WWE most of the time it is.
if nothing's ever predictable, the surprises lose all meaning. Like look at WCW in the late 90s, right? And 2000. They tried to make everything's a surprise and a swerve, and it's exhausting and nothing means
so
anything.
Kenny says it feels good to be single star again, says he can't wait to get AEW title, calls Hangman a tag guy who's interested in the world title. I take this very offensively. That was very offensive. Kenny's very confident, calls Hangman a tag guy again. Please stop, you're offending me. Decent interview, I guess, and I'm pumped to get
Yeah,
tips.
it was fine.
And Hangman is going to win that title match. I don't care what anybody
might.
else says. He will.
Well,
I'm
him and
positive.
Omega in the finals would be amazing.
I'm positive it will be Hangman. And if it's not, I'm going to be very sad. Very
So,
sad.
from talking about some amazing wrestlers to what's our next match? More amazing? Actually, Serena Deeb's
Big
not
Swole
bad.
versus Serena Deeb. Yeah, but if you want her to have a good match, you know what you should do? Put her against Big Swole.
Or give her an entrance. Already in the ring, Serena Deeb, unfortunately. It's never a good sign. Am I right?
Yeah. I was saying they could pull an Abaddon and she would win.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
Abaddon didn't get the package and she won.
Abaddon is her entrance and her look is the best. Not in the ring, not the best, but the
No.
presentation's amazing.
Like Bray Wyatt. Like The Fiend.
Quit avoiding talking about this match. Let's go.
Aww. Collar and elbow tie-up, wrist holds, and technical counters by both. Greco-Roman knuckle lock, the lariat by Deeb. Dragon screw on middle rope by Deeb. Neckbreaker on middle rope by Deeb. Both bonk heads.
There
'Cause
was
they're
two
not-
awkward collisions in this within the first 3 minutes.
They're not smart.
Well, I don't know about
Strikes and clotheslines by Swole. Headbutt by Swole for 2.
Yep.
Rope step move by Swole. Counter into backstabber by Deeb. Roll up by Swole for 2. Uppercuts by both. Headbutt followed by a rolling elbow for the win by Swole. Big Swole wins. And I tried to get through this as fast as possible.
When you were talking about the counters on the ropes and stuff, my notes, counter of some kind off ropes by Deeb, ... this match, ... not great.
It was terrible.
No.
I hated it.
So Swole's not ready for TV. I don't mean to be rude, and I don't
Get
know.
on Dark now
I
and
don't-
don't come back.
And she could turn out to be amazing because her, again, charisma's pretty good. Character can be interesting. She needs some time on Dark. I agree. Deeb is just not that interesting. She's better than Swole in the ring, and she's fine in the ring, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they were hoping because Deeb acts as a trainer that they could get a good match out of Swole here, but I don't think they were successful.
You're kind of praying for a miracle. That's never going to happen.
Poor Swole.
I guess.
Even her finish, her elbow looks okay sometimes.
Austin Aries did a
But
better
anyways,
one. I remember he did it with his left.
well, let's move on from that match.
Please. So John Moxley vignette. Sorry. I just got like a thing in my throat or whatever.
Carry on.
You know when you have to swallow.
Fix it in post.
Mox says next week is AEW's anniversary, but he ain't celebrating because he faces challenger after challenger. Says Archer could be the one to beat him. Says he barely won their match in Japan. Puts over Archer a little bit while staying in character.
He usually does a good job of that.
He does it every time. Mox says he's going to do everything possible to keep his style. He really does a good job of staying in character, while putting over his opponent while not looking stupid or weak.
Yep, he always does, which is why it's nice to have him as your main guy, right? Because he doesn't just bury talent in his promos.
Where it's most evident was when they were leading up to the match he had with Darby Allin.
Yes.
For the title. Just because also they were like playing off like they're not even in a feud. It was just because like Darby Allin won a shot, so it's like.
Yeah, and he was always saying, like, you're for sure the next one and you're the future, but it's not now.
Not while I'm holding the title.
It was cool.
Yeah. So we got John Moxley versus Lance Archer, world title match next week. We got FTR versus Best Friends, tag title match next week.
Yep.
This will be the hour time limit, not the Brush with Greatness challenge this time. We got Kip Sabian and Miro in action next week. Yay!
Well, I hope they
And that's not even sarcastic.
Hope they have a bit better showing than the last one.
Well, Miro did kind of get injured, so.
We'll see.
Yeah. So we got Cody versus Orange Cassidy, TNT title next week.
Hooray.
That's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got our main event.
Question mark? But anyways.
Yes.
So I explained to Jack that he thought Luther was involved because of Jericho. They had a history, which is true, but it's actually that they're like best friends. I think maybe like best man in weddings and type of stuff. So this match largely seems like it's a big favor to Luther here, right? So he's getting a main event on an AEW Dynamite when he hasn't. Has he done anything on AEW?
He was in the Nightmare Collective.
I know, but has he wrestled?
He's in the Nightmare Collective.
Anyways, okay, carry on.
So Inner Circle, Jericho and Hager versus Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. Actually, a cool entrance for Chaos Project, might I add.
I don't even mind the name.
Yeah.
It's better than some things. I mean, it's pretty on the nose.
Vicious Vixens.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be one. Exhibit A, Your Honor.
So we get another 30 years of Jericho package. Lance Storm, yay! Kevin Smith, Eli Roth, okay. Gabriel Iglesias.
He's like I don't even know actually.
Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Comedian. Chef.
Noise, Steel Panther. Don't ask me who that is because I don't know.
Nope.
And then we got Ultimo Dragon, wrestling legend, and Paul Stanley. Again, I don't know who that is.
Speaking of which, remember the guy that was in the scene with Miro and Sabian last week?
Yeah.
Billy Mitchell?
Yeah.
Turns out he's like a controversial record holder for Donkey Kong and I think Pac-Man and stuff, but there's some question of whether anyways, a controversial figure in the world of video gaming records. That's why he was there. Anyways, carry on, sorry.
What?
I just had a flashback to that.
I'm confused. Oh, because they do Twitch.
Because they're gamer guys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Carry on.
So this made me laugh a lot. New Jericho nickname to go Demo God is Million Viewer Man.
Yeah, that's cool.
I thought that was so good.
And he'll slap it on merchandise and sell it to people.
I will buy that shirt.
Of course.
Jericho versus Serpentico to start. And I'm kind of not happy to put Serpentico because I'm going to blame him for taking away Pentagon's name.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm
I know you were working on a theory, but...
guilty until proven innocent.
Sure.
Chop by Jericho, head scissors takedown by Serpentico, clothesline by Jericho, Luther tags in, chop exchange, double underhook suplex by Luther, Serpentico tags in, slingshot butt stomp, kind of slingshot coup de grace, I guess.
Yeah.
Luther tags back in, suplex by Jericho during a commercial break, satellite DDT by Serpentico, Luther tags in and takes out Hager on the apron. Luther clotheslines Jericho out of ring. Top rope dive by Luther onto Inner Circle. Top rope knee drop by Luther for 2.
These things looked rough, I thought. I thought
Yes.
he looked old and slow. I'm sure he was good at some point, but like,
I don't understand why he does the thing with the tongue where he points to his head. He's like, ah.
but his offense looked rough to me.
Yes. Springboard caught by clothesline from Luther on apron.
Do you remember his? I have it in quotation marks because the commentators called it a high boot, and I actually rewound it, and it was like a kick to the midsection.
Oh, yeah.
called
Jericho
a
misses
high
a
boot.
Judas effect, and Luther hits German suplex. Spinebuster Meteora by Chaos Project. Serpentico and Hager fall out of the ring. Luther catches bad and hits Jericho. Luther falls with the WBE. You know, Dana's got his BME, best mental ever. This is the worst boot ever. And then we got Judas effect by
That's the high
Jericho
boot,
for the
yes.
win.
Sorry, I was
Yes.
early.
And then Jericho and Hager win. Jericho promo, thanks everyone. Then MJF comes out, says he respects Jericho, wants to celebrate with Jericho. He's got a gift. Cloudico Le Clown.
Yeah, I had MJF out with a present and a clown.
And then he got a present. He says he'll get Sammy. I wrote he'll get Sammy a Jericho instead of a jacket for some reason. And it says he wants Jericho next week for a big announcement. Gives Jericho an MJF portrait as a gift. And I just watched one of the WWE's timeline documentaries. This reminded me of The Rock and Farouk in the Nation Domination.
Yeah.
Rock gave Farouk a portrait of him with the Intercontinental
did.
title. Jericho smashes over a clown and hits clown Judas effect. Poor clown. Temporary heated conversation, then they laugh it off. Everyone walks out to celebrate. End credits have everything as Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Like cameraman and all that jizz.
This match was not good.
No.
Um,
Again, the dog collar match could not have been the main event.
Did you notice that Hager didn't wrestle?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I wonder why. If he was hurt or if that was just...
Or they realized, hey, it's Jake Hager.
I thought Luther was really bad. This was the worst Dynamite main event I can remember.
Yes, and for that, I'm going to have to give the show a B.
You're giving it a B? So
Yes.
for me...
Dog collar match I enjoyed more than I expected, but still, like, I agree. It was, like, a little overdramatic.
So this show went off a cliff for me. I loved the first two matches, and I was like, man, this show's going to be awesome.
Yeah, the first two matches
I was
were
having
great.
a great time, and then the long, boring dog collar match, a Swole Deeb match.
Yeah, the dog collar match was too long, but I thought there was a few nice spots, but that was like
Yeah,
it.
I agree. But then there was plodding the rest of the way.
Chain punches.
Swole and Deeb match and a weak main event with only one main eventer in it out of 4 people, I would suggest. Jericho.
Yes, that is fair.
So I was not happy with the over half of this show, so I'm giving it a C+. I was disappointed.
The more I think about it, I'll do B-.
B-, okay. That sounds fair.
Sorry.
So that hurts me to give AEW a mark below a B. But you know what else I realized? If we have any viewers in the United States, we do our grades different than they do there.
What do you mean?
So an A is in most of the states. I actually did research on this. So it's not uniform across the whole country, but in most of them, an A is 90 and above, and a B is 80 and above. So here, and then a C is 70 to 80, which is a B here.
So what? Oh, okay.
So a B there is
So
actually
it's
10%
easier to get an
higher.
A here.
Yeah. Yes. Right? Because
nice.
and I've always thought that's weird because the A range here is 80 to 100, right? It's a 20% range.
That's a pretty big range.
And every other grade is a 10% range. Anyways.
Right. Interesting.
School talk. So
Wait, let's stop.
right, we will. That brings us to the end of that and into our next segment, which is off the top of his head.
Yes.
Are you ready?
The hair.
I liked last week. So we did
What was it? I forgot.
matches from the year you were born.
Right.
And so now I'm doing matches from a different year. And because I'm just a clever man, right? I've selected as a tie-in to an earlier announcement you made. It's from the year your brother was born, which was?
Never.
2010. Okay, so you were 3 years old when this happened. So same idea. I'm going to give you like the year, obviously 2010. The event.
What year?
The event and type of match. Okay, and then you're going to try and tell me.
I bet if it's a Fatal 4-Way match, it's at the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view.
You can tell me who won if you want to tell me who else was in it, and if you have any other details about like context, that's fine too, because sometimes you do.
Yeah.
All right, so let me.
I have a feeling I would know what the best match would be.
Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, who's in it?
Well, do you know who is in it? Oh, hold on. So it is. Oh, that's not the order I wanted to go. Sorry, I rephrase. Royal Rumble 2010 winner.
Edge.
Correct. Anything else you know about it?
It was his return.
Right.
And Beth Phoenix eliminated Great Khali.
See,
and
that's
CM Punk had promo after he eliminated everybody. He was like alone in the ring, and he's like, I'm a hobo, and I have this rage society, and I'm CM Punk.
So there's the details we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well done. Elimination Chamber 2010.
For what?
For the World Heavyweight Championship. We had... you don't remember?
Undertaker.
Undertaker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know who won. Chris Jericho.
Yes, that's
Shawn Michaels
correct.
interfered to cost him the match because he wanted to face Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Very good. You got it.
And someone else was in it, too.
There was a whole bunch of people in it.
Yeah. I don't know. I forgot.
WrestleMania 26, no DQ, no count out. Career versus something else, because that'll give it away.
Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
How's that not number one?
Well, these aren't in no order. I just sort of plucked the ones that I think make sense and that are
okay.
range from like doable to a little bit
Why? How
challenging.
many are in the list?
I think I have 10 and they had a few more than that.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Extreme Rules Last Man Standing for the WWE Championship.
John Cena versus Batista?
Correct.
I remember
Who won?
John Cena because he
Correct.
taped Batista's feet together when he was around the post so he can't get up.
Nice. Again, details.
Duct tape, boys.
Over the Limit, Pledge versus Hair Match.
What?
Ooh.
What's pledge?
Pledge, like someone joining a group. Like you pledge a
John Cena versus Wade Barrett?
No. Well, we've got him, folks. We stumped him. Who was it? Had a group, like a little cult that might be wanting to get people.
CM Punk?
Correct.
Versus?
Rey Mysterio.
Oh.
Mysterio won. That's how
yeah,
Punk
'cause-
ended up with the shaved head.
Oh, yeah. I remember
dare you.
that.
So both the Raw
And
and
then he wore a
SmackDown
mask.
Money in the Bank. Can you tell me the winners of?
The Raw one, well, that Miz won that one, and then
He
Kane
did.
won the other one. Kane cashed in on the same night to win the world title from Rey Mysterio after he retained against Jack Swagger,
There you go.
who
folks.
had won the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and cashed in on Chris Jericho.
So that makes up for you not knowing one, I would say.
Oh, and then Rey Mysterio won the world title at the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view, which they never did again because they realized it was a mistake.
There you go. That was pretty much how what I hear on a regular basis out of him.
Yes.
So SummerSlam, Team WWE.
Versus Team Nexus.
Tell me
Okay,
about
let
it.
me think of the Nexus people.
Who won?
Wade Barrett. Well, not the Nexus because
Right.
so John Cena's team. So I think Team WWE had Cena, Bret Hart, Edge, Jericho,
Trying to find
R-Truth.
it quickly. Keep going.
Daniel Bryan, and someone else that I can't remember.
That's pretty good, though.
I'm missing one person.
I would say Cena, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Chris Jericho, Bret Hart, John Morrison, and R-Truth
Oh, okay, John Morrison's the one I forgot.
versus Wade Barrett.
Michael Tarver, Heath
Yes.
Slater,
Yes.
Justin Gabriel,
Yes.
Skip Sheffield,
Yes.
Darren
Darren Young, David
Young,
Otunga.
David Otunga. Okay.
That is it. Good job.
And
That's
Daniel Bryan was in the Nexus, but then he got fired for choking Justin Roberts with his own tie, and then he got rehired and put on Team WWE.
Wow. If you say so.
I just know that because I know that, and I also played the 2K19 showcase, which was based on Daniel Bryan.
Nice. Next one, Night of Champions, 6-pack challenge elimination for the WWE title.
John Cena,
No,
Undertaker,
not even in it.
WWE, or Randy Orton.
He won it, and it was Orton,
Triple H.
Orton, Jericho, Cena, Barrett, Sheamus, Edge.
I said Cena.
Yeah, but he didn't win it.
Oh,
I was
just
looking for the
saying
winner.
this-
Sorry.
Oh,
Hell in a Cell match for the WWE title in 2010.
Randy Orton versus Sheamus.
Correct. Who won?
Randy Orton.
Correct.
A lot of steel steps in that match.
And if you say so, the final one, TLC ladder match for number 1 contender for the WWE title. It's a hard one, I thought.
I don't know.
Morrison defeated Sheamus.
Oh,
That wasn't a major one.
no, I was not.
That's why I thought it would be the hardest. All right,
That's
so that
not nice.
wraps up another segment of Off the Top of His Head. Pretty good performance. Lots of details on a couple of those events that I'm not sure why you know, but you do, of course. So that will lead us next into our weekly NXT review. So NXT this week, I was really looking forward to. I really enjoyed last week's episode, and the
And after
pay-per-view we
Takeover.
talked about was awesome. So I was excited for this. Let's see how it goes. They're still at the CWC, which is good. We talked about how we liked the look of it, right? So I
Yeah,
was
it was
glad they were
cool.
back there. And we start out with, right away, Tommaso Ciampa versus Kushida. More Kushida. Sorry, that was a sigh. I couldn't even help myself. I said Kushida and just went, sorry, Kushida. I'm sure you're great.
And he's serious because he's wearing jeans.
Serious. We get a slap exchange, some grappling and reversals, and a hip toss, then a drop kick by Kushida. Kushida's focusing on the left arm, obviously trying to get weaken it or whatever, get the hoverboard lock on there since that's his finisher. Ciampa hits a basement drop kick to Kushida's face while he tries to do his handspring move. Chin lock by Ciampa. Chin lock. Ciampa's in control. Leg drop for 2. The pace slows down. Ciampa stomps and punches a bunch. Kushida finally fights back and strikes on it with strikes of his own until there's a hard Irish whip by Ciampa to gain control again. Ciampa then works Kushida some more on the ground. It's because Kush is my short form. I almost said
Kush.
it. Kushida.
Kushida.
Neck breaker by Ciampa after another chin lock. Hey, chin lock, chin lock.
Hi, Baron Corbin.
Kushida tries to take the arm again, ends up handspringing kick to knock Ciampa to the floor. Back from commercial to a striking exchange in the ring. Both go up top. Kushida is chopped down. Ciampa's arm slammed over the top rope. Kicks by Kushida. Attempted fairy tale ending. Hand stomp by Kushida. Face to turnbuckle German and a head kick by Kushida. Looked pretty cool. Back to more arm work by Kushida. Ciampa powers out with a sit-out powerbomb, which always looks nice, and both are down now. Another strike exchange, fisherman suplex by Ciampa that I also enjoyed. Arm, back to the arm again.
Enjoy a good fisherman thingy thing.
Back to the arm again, slap to break it, backslide by Kushida for 2. Up kicks by Ciampa, a big right by Kushida, stomps and the hoverboard is applied, and the Dream interferes off the top rope with a cast.
The Velveteen Dream.
Yes. With a cast on his arm now, Kushida flips over the ropes to take him out, and Dream runs away.
Yeah, I think he accidentally hit Ciampa, and then he was just like, "Oh no!" And then Kushida kind of got him.
So it was a decent storytelling, I guess. Ciampa worked really slowly, I thought, for him.
Ciampa being used is just like to get this story continued is just kind of sad.
It is, and he can work so fast, right? So this was strange to me. Kushida just doesn't interest me. We say it every week. I'm sorry, we're repetitive, but if they
gotta get the point
if they don't want us to repeat it, then make him interesting, right? Even in ring where he's supposed to be amazing, he doesn't dazzle me. Like, he's fine, I guess.
And I think he's had enough time to show me that he could.
So those things combined, right? Ciampa not working a style I really like him working. Kushida being boring and no finish.
Kushida.
That's not a great opener for me. So I didn't love it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have Ember Moon address the NXT audience next.
Does she have to?
I have. Oh God, I hope she's improved because this is where she is not strong. So she's shocked they let her talk, and I said same, and you laughed pretty hard when we were watching. She says she's been isolated for 14 months, but she's back, and she sees things have changed. She rode her bike miles and miles and found clarity. She's found herself, and she's made.
I'd like to ask if Clarity is her friend, and she went missing, and then she found her.
Ha ha ha.
I'd just like to ask.
She found herself and made corny Ember's Law, and it's not me calling it corny. She says herself that it's corny. So
At
no
least
one
she
will.
knows that.
This is Ember's Law, I guess. No one will tell her what to do. She's Ember Moon, and Mama wants some gold. And then Io's music interrupts. I say, thank you, Io.
Is she implying she's going to get pregnant?
No. Io comes to the ring. Rhea comes out too, but gets attacked by Gonzalez and Kai. And the heels and the faces are now squaring off.
Oh, no.
And guess what? We get a Teddy Long tag team match, playa.
Except it was William Regal, playa.
But the concept of, like,
playa.
You just match people up that are out there. It's a very standard WWE thing.
At least one team is an actual team. The other is Rhea Ripley with stupid hair and Ember Moon with stupid gear. And stupid theme.
I feel that Ember Moon is still really not good on the mic. She did not improve in those 14 months finding herself. She sounded nervous. She sounded rattled a little bit. Her voice and her tone, as I said before, don't connect well with her look and her in-ring charisma. I think she's a perfect candidate for a manager and a heel turn, but I always think everyone should be a heel, so who knows?
Except Johnny Gargano.
Right. Drake Maverick is walking, and he and Dane have been preparing to be a tag team. This confused me, and I don't know if you can clarify, because Maverick's telling us, oh yeah, we've been planning, I've been messaging him, blah, blah, blah. And then Dane shows up and says they're not a team, and then Maverick tells us he doesn't have Dane's number.
So maybe it's like
but then says Dane should have read his messages after he said, yeah, I don't have his number.
So you could send it, I don't know if he DM him on Instagram and maybe doesn't follow Drake. It's a message request maybe.
Thank you, young person who's on social media. See how that would never occur to me?
Yes.
To me, if I don't have your phone number, I can't contact you. That's the world I live in.
Yes.
Sad, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that I guess makes more sense than I
Yes.
thought it did.
Yes.
And then they have a match tonight with Everrise, I guess, is what's coming up.
One of them is chubby.
Then we get Shotzi being used to promote Halloween Havoc NXT next week, I guess it is, or on Halloween or whatever it is.
She pops out of on the screen out of nowhere and screams, and then I scream back because
Yes.
she terrifies me every time because she's Shotzi and I don't like her. And
I guess it's a logical.
She's kind of creepy with her face and green hair, and then when she's popping out of nowhere, out of nowhere.
Hence the Halloween thing. Makes sense.
Like she's just like gross.
Okay. Io says Ember Moon and Rhea Ripley are not her problem. The gold is her only problem. We get a
Io.
recap.
Yeah, that was good.
Recap of Holland's appearance at Takeover, unfortunately, and they showed it again and again and again. Undisputed Era talk, and they support Kyle as he's disappointed that he lost, but they're all saying Kyle. He did a great job. They need to deal with Ridge. Cole doesn't know why Holland did this, and he doesn't care. Okay. I just found you can sense it. There was so much talking in this show.
I don't care why I got attacked.
There's so many interviews and so much talking. But anyways, I'll carry on. Everrise, who I like and you don't, versus Dane and Matt. Of course they are, but I still think doesn't mean they're not talented. They're just not. They're never going to be above enhancement talent, but that's okay.
They're the Cassius Ohno of tag teams.
Not even that good, but I just like them.
No, but the role they
play. This is main roster comedy stuff. In the entrance, it's like the worst theme ever on purpose.
It was funny.
It doesn't belong.
I
on
hated
NXT,
it, but I laughed.
So Dane has trimmed his beard quite a bit.
Yes.
Cut it back.
Like Bray Wyatt.
A lot, yeah. So Dane tags Maverick in too hard right near the beginning because he's big and Drake's small, and this is funny. Everrise worked Drake's arm while tagging in and out. We get a clothesline to the back of Drake by Martel. Dane really isn't trying too hard for the hot tag at this point. A double team move to Drake. Martel yells in Dane's face and drags Maverick back. So Dane gets angry, right? He has to get furious.
Martel?
No. He has to get furious before he wants to get involved in this tag match, but he does. So he drags Maverick back to their corner and tags him in. Dane is on offense, a running crossbody and a slam and a senton, which looks cool. Drake tags in and they argue in the corner, and Drake gets rolled up for a near fall, but it's saved by Dane. Dane power bombs. He gets mad, picks up his own partner, and power bombs him onto Parker. And then it's an accidental pin, haha, because this is a comedy match on NXT that I'm super thrilled about, as you can tell. And then you
get their theme with the whistles, like I can't do it.
Drake dances to their theme song, and Dane knocks him out, but then comes back and carries him off. So we're getting a reluctant comedy tag team win by accident. I thought NXT 31 meant a return to the NXT I loved. Maybe not.
And this is like Sheamus and Cesaro, where they're a random tag team, except this one sucks.
I feel dumb now because I've listened to last week's podcast where I'm like, I feel like this is a change and they're shifting to a more serious, like they're treating it differently, like old NXT.
Don't you feel ridiculous?
A little bit, but anyways. It's good listening. Yes. Then we get a Toni Storm package.
I dislike her very much.
She's fine. She's back. She was off preparing and has been her longest time off since she was 13 years old. She lists her accomplishments and says her absence has been calculated. And this Toni Storm is like nothing we've seen before. I thought it was fine, way better than Ember Moon speaking, but
I still don't like
nothing amazing, right? It was just filling time with people talking. Guess what? Next segment, people are talking. Candice and Johnny walk and talk about Takeover.
I just wrote the Garganos walk their dog.
They deserve rematches and need to reassess how things are done. They think they need to come up with a new plan, which I like, right? Because their current plan isn't working. So they're going to re-evaluate things and come up with a new plan. They get home and their TV's been dropped off by Indy Hartwell. And I thought that was sort of a clunky way to introduce her into this feud. But the later payoff, it makes a little bit more sense. So I was kind of happy.
I think she's trying to help Candice. You thought she was trying to feud with Candice?
Not right away, right? But have you ever noticed how things change in wrestling pretty quickly?
I know. But
that's what I'm saying. So then we get Austin Theory versus Leon Ruff for some reason. Theory starts fast, but eventually Ruff gets going, and he's really
Ruff
quick.
Is an Evolve star, I believe. One of their latest performance center signings, along with Joe Gacy, who's a former CZW star, and Kurt Stallion, who has a cool name.
Ruff is quick and super athletic, but he's very, very small.
He's like Leo Brush, I know, like same hairstyle, same initials.
Maybe a bit bigger than Leo. Taller.
Leon, Ruff.
Ooh. Ruff gets in a whole bunch of offense really quickly until he climbs the ropes, and then there's sort of a botch, but I guess maybe intentional, on the ropes by
Oh,
Ruff.
yeah.
He immediately gets grabbed and given the ATL for a Theory win. He talks and says this is how things go when he's warmed up. So he's saying that the only reason Cole won last week because it was kind of, sort of a surprise match, right? So he's got these heel excuses, which I don't mind.
Heel tack.
So he
Or heel
disses
logic.
he disses Cole and says Theory is the future of NXT and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Just like Tony Storm, there's nothing anyone can do about anything with these guys right now. Exact same wording, which I thought was interesting.
Except Theory does it better.
So no one can do anything about it, and Loomis stalks to the ring.
Yeah.
So this was a simple enhancement match that led to the next segment, which is Dexter Loomis versus Austin
Tell
Theory.
Dexter Loomis to go away.
So Theory's going back to back here, and you did dislike Loomis. I'm not a huge fan, but anyways, I'll just cover the match. I'm not a giant fan either, but I think he has potential, and you don't. But we've talked about that many times before, so I won't bore the people again. Big uppercut by Loomis and some stomps. Punches, more stomps in the corner, which is Loomis's offense is pretty basic for the most part, with a few flurries of athleticism.
You say
right?
he has potential.
Thez press by Loomis with punches. Theory rolls out, and I have notes are easy when Loomis is in control because I have time. Right, there's like a time between each move to write things down. Whereas if the Cole and the O'Reilly, if you were trying to do move for that, the O'Reilly Balor, there's no way I could have done that. Anyways, rest hold in the middle, clothesline and standing moonsault by Theory for 2, forearms to the ground to a grounded Loomis in the front facelock, suplex by Theory for 2. I messed up a note here. Boot in the corner by Theory. Too much talk by Theory, and Loomis is mad and starts to fire up and get some punches in. We have a suplex standoff, as you said earlier. Spine buster by Loomis. Right hands by Loomis. Rolling monkey flip by Loomis. So this is the sort of flurry where he's showing some athleticism here. Slingshot suplex by Loomis for 2. Drop kick by Theory, but Loomis is up fast and Theory is freaked out by how quickly he sort of no-sold this move. Side effect into the submission. His finisher, I don't know if it has an actual name.
Some sort of choke.
And Theory is out.
When I was typing some stuff, they kept trying to autocorrect Loomis to Lumia, and I was getting angry.
Nice. Great detail.
Just like when I watched one of his matches.
So Loomis's finisher has him applying the submission while he's sort of seated on the canvas, and from out of nowhere, Grimes hits the cave-in to the seated Loomis, all because Loomis didn't answer Grimes' question last week. Like, that was enough. They had that
I feel like if it wasn't Grimes, I would say this was the point of him attacking was stupid, but since it's Grimes, I'm like, yes.
And the way Grimes delivers stuff, right? And he's kind of building this, like, I'm an irrational, unstable heel. So to him, if he asks you a question and you don't answer, that's enough to, like, that's just his character. I don't mind it. But again, I love Grimes. I'm probably going to find a way to like anything he does. Yes. And I did like this. It was great to see him. Then we get Kai and Gonzalez blame Rhea, and they'll take care of her tonight. Ember should get in line behind Kai for a title shot. Decent promo by both of them. You thought Gonzalez sounded pretty good there.
Yeah, I just think she's
got potential, man.
A lot of new people don't usually like she wasn't bad. She was better than most people.
Yeah, and I think mic work.
Because she's just starting.
I think what you're saying too is right. That mic work seems to be the last thing people develop. Most people, right?
Yeah,
Some
and just
are
her
naturals,
voice,
but...
I think, is different for like a big woman. So I just think I don't know. I just think she sounds good.
Yep. Then we get Grimes explaining his attack. So more people talking. If I didn't remind you of that. So he's just basically saying, just answer me and don't sit there and stare. Everyone will learn not to mess with Grimes. Then we get highlights of the bump with Kyle O'Reilly and the match at TakeOver, or from the bump, the show.
I hate that show.
They're a bunch of random. You don't even watch it.
No, I've seen it. And it's just a bunch of random poop heads who have never been around. Like, it's like Caleb Braxton and a bunch of random schmucks.
Okay.
One of them's name is Ryan Popola.
Okay.
They're
Okay. You dislike it. We get
and they're just like, they've done like, I've seen some of the things, like when I turn on the network channel, they'll be doing the weirdest things, and it's just like, it just feels like if, like, say you and your buddies are like just doing this wrestling show just for fun and goofing around.
So it's not for you.
It's terrible though.
Okay, it's not for you. We get it. Good line by Finn about the one time that you sort of don't. You're gonna win. He basically says you're gonna win main event matches 9 out of 10 times, right? But unfortunately, I'm the one time. Very cool package and a good sign for O'Reilly. I thought that they're still putting some energy behind him because he was awesome.
Yep.
O'Reilly sounds really comfortable speaking, better than I thought he was, actually, which is also nice because I know he's awesome in the ring. I didn't realize he was pretty good talking as well. Both of them are hurt. Finn's jaw's fractured in 2 places, and I'm hoping for a rematch at some point, yeah?
Yeah, hopefully they don't injure each other next time.
Right? Like maybe back off a little bit just so you can survive.
Just a little bit. So that, like, you could do in rematch.
You're not both out right after for a while. We'll see how long.
Yeah.
Probably Balor a bit longer. We get
They said he could probably not hardly even be talking.
Yeah, he might be. I don't know if he got his jaw wired shut, but he's probably not doing much talking. So Ridge Holland is asked why he attacked Adam Cole last week, and his response was interesting. He said last week he didn't have a Mercedes, and now he does. So I actually really like this. They found a way for him to say almost nothing, but it was intriguing. And I think the implication is that
He stole a car from Adam Cole.
Yeah, that someone is paying him probably very good money to do it, is what I would suspect.
Who did I blame?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Austin Theory. It was that little stinker, wasn't it?
That did what? Paid him?
Yes.
I don't know.
No.
Do you think he has that much money?
Yes.
I'm trying to think who has a gimmick with a lot of money that would want Cole out.
MJF.
Or maybe I'm just misinterpreting what's going on. But anyways, I thought it was a cool, keep this guy to a minimum.
Wait, let's speculate on this for a second.
A minimum of talking.
I want to think.
We're already going to be really long without speculating about who's paying a guy who's not going to be on the show for the next 2 months.
I blame Johnny Gargano.
All right, fair enough.
Or Austin Theory.
Priest is going to talk now. How many interviews is what I put in my note? So the party was great. I assume he's
so many. I think I missed a couple.
The
of my
after
notes.
party. I don't worry. I go over them again at the end when I evaluate the show. He burned Johnny's name in the championship at Takeover, and he wants to know who's going to be next.
I'd like to see the title to prove that.
If they want the title, they'll get a reckoning. Not great. I thought this wasn't one of his best promos. He still needs a bit of work on the mic, but that's fine. His overall package is awesome, so he's good. Ridge Holland versus Danny Burch. One strike from Holland. I didn't get a lot of notes on this. My summary of the first third or whatever was one strike from Holland is greater than 10 from Burch. Burch German suplex, Holland finisher for the win. Those were my notes. Another enhancement match. Holland a bully after the match as well, and Lorcan comes out and he gets a beating too. The refs can't stop him, and then Lorcan jumps over and is caught by Holland, and his leg gives out. Bye Holland, poor guy.
Yeah, I was after the dive. Oh.
Poor guy. So Johnny's staring at his new TV. There was a USB key with it and a video on it for them to watch. It was a video about how many times Indy Hartwell saved Candice LeRae in the Battle Royal.
And when I saw this, I was just like, that's freaking genius.
It's interesting, at least. I'm not ready to say it's genius yet.
No, but I just think that because, it's just such... Sorry, my phone dropped.
It's okay.
It's just such a minuscule thing. And, they actually makes me think, they've planned a bit.
Yes, I'm going to see where it goes.
It's just, I was just like... Oh, okay, so there's a bit of context there.
So it was basically highlighting a few times within the Battle Royal really cool. where Indy had saved her, right?
I just thought it was kind of clever, and I was just like, maybe there's something to this.
I thought that, and this also furthers this idea of they need to come up with a new plan, right? So now they're like, oh, maybe we can include this person.
Maybe we can trust her.
Right? So,
Johnny Gargano, when he got the TV, he's like, India Hartwell, what good is she done? And then he sees the TV, he's like, oh, yeah, I like her. And then, Candice, after the video, she's like, I'm starting to like her, too.
Right. So it was the first little bit of talking that's sort of interesting and leading me to want to see what's coming next. I agree. So let's hope that it's good.
Yeah.
Then I didn't mind this next package either. It makes me laugh for some reason. The Thatcher's Can package this week.
Yeah.
So Thatcher's basically telling us to strike first when opportunity presents
and life
itself.
Will grind you down until you quit.
While he's torturing some guy on the mat, obviously, and lecturing him the whole time, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, life is going to grind you down until you quit, and that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I like this. It's amusing that he's this super tough guy, but also kind of making me laugh at the same time as he's just torturing these poor guys. He's giving them these life lessons and stuff. I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Life lessons for him.
Yes, well, he's got you literally captive audience, right? They use that term, and it's literal. He's got you in some super painful hold, and he's giving you a lecture.
Yeah.
Back to Ridge being carted off, and thanks for the multiple slow motion replays NXT of a guy's leg just it wasn't, I don't know, it's not necessary.
Did you have to do that?
I'm sensitive. I've had some leg injuries. I don't like to see it on other people. Then we get
one that's cringy to me is I remember when Samoa Joe debuted on Raw and he did a thing to Rollins, and Rollins did that, and I was just like, ugh.
So I thought you were,
or the original time he tore his ACL.
Yes,
that
also
when he did the sun stuff. I heard I remember in his Money in the Bank match against Roman Reigns, the WWE title match when Rollins returned from his first injury.
Yeah.
Rollins did the sunset. Roman actually like kind of caught him midway just to help him down,
Right.
which is actually kind of cool. And then, but yeah, I just remember Samoa Joe debuting, and I was just like so sad when Seth Rollins was out for that bit, and like I just remember seeing it. It's just like eesh, it's just never.
No, the stuff they're doing right is putting a lot of pressure on there,
Yes.
and they're generally fairly
And
heavy.
I remember
too.
how sad I was when Dean Ambrose got injured.
Yes. Well, rather than lamenting
Okay.
all the injuries for hours, Shotzi Blackheart versus Xia Li in new ring gear at least, right?
And Shotzi Blackheart is going to give me a mental injury.
My note was Jack is refusing to give Shotzi any reaction because that is the worst thing you can get as a wrestler, right? Is that nobody reacts. So that was his
Her entrance is so stupid.
his personal protest.
She's got like these stupid cobwebs and crap on her tank, and she's got a Halloween Havoc shirt. And I seriously hope they don't air that commercial again where she pops out on the screen.
They will. You'll see it every week from now on, I would imagine.
I'm going to be sad.
So Lee sort of teased the heel turn last week, or just maybe the new intensity / aggression of Kushida. Drop kick right away by Shotzi, reverse sling blade, and some yelling by Shotzi, knee by Shotzi, strikes by Lee, knees, a spins kick, and a corner spears by Lee. They both go up top. Lee gets front suplex down, and then the senton right away, and Shotzi wins. So
yeah.
it was another like basically enhancement match, right? Almost, I guess, or lower mid-card match.
Yes.
But I guess it's to further some character development for Lee because Boa shows up in a suit and brings Lee an envelope. And that's basically it, right, from that. So it was kind of nothing, I thought, other than just a Boa Lee introduction of a connection there somehow.
Yeah.
So
Nothing
maybe cool,
here.
maybe not.
Yeah.
Main event time, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai and Gonzalez. So Ember Moon comes out. I think she looks really cool, but the theme song, go ahead, Jack. I'll sip some coffee.
Oh my god, it was so bad, the lyrics. It sounds like Bridge Holland's theme where it's like some stupid pop or song or whatever, and then they just took in like, except there's like a pop song made by like a stupid new amateur artist that they play at crappy clubs.
Okay.
It was awful, and
he did not like it.
I enjoyed her old theme too, to make matters worse.
Moon and Kai start. Stomp and senton by Moon, suplex by Moon. Moon works Kai's arm, and Kai escapes and tags out. Reversals by Moon and kicks to Gonzalez's face. Kai tags back in and takes control of Moon. A big slap by Kai and forearms from Moon. Nice suicide dive by Moon really fast, because I'm not everybody does suicide dives, so I don't love too many of them, but hers looks really good. Cannonball by Ripley pretty much right after that to the outside onto Gonzalez. Back in the ring now, and Ripley kicks Kai, but she didn't see that there was a blind tag. Gonzalez kicks Ripley off the apron to the floor. Back from the commercial with Ripley and a backbreaker by Gonzalez I thought looked kind of cool. Ragdoll toss to Ripley. Clothesline from behind by Gonzalez for 2. So just some power moves and a submission that requires you to be really strong to hold as well. So that looked cool. Ring cut off by the heels. Kai in leaping stomp for 2. Kai works Ripley's arms. Escape. Guillotine by Kai. Ripley is sort of odd as the face in peril, right? Because she's generally booked as like
I guess it's
almost
because
a monster.
No, but I guess just because Moon's return, right?
That's exactly right. Because
purely...
if there's going to be a hot tag and someone's going to look good, it's going to be Moon. So it just puts Ripley in a spot you don't usually see her, right? Hot tag to Moon.
Yeah, I think they didn't really have a choice, just only because he was returning. If this was any other match, I think, and Moon wasn't returning, I think she would be the face in peril.
100%. Hot tag to Moon, kicks and forearms for both from Moon. Basement flatliner by Moon that I liked. Codebreaker by Moon for 2. Gonzalez pulls Kai out of the way and tags in. We get a head kick power slam tandem offense by the heels for 2. Head kick by Moon to tag out to Ripley. Electric chair front drop, I don't know what to call it, to Dakota Kai for 2.
Electric chair facebuster. I think
There you
Brian Cage did a similar thing.
Right, that helps. So front electric chair facebuster. Leg kick and a chiropractor for 2, which is always nice to see. That is a cool move. What is it?
Chiropractor.
But what's the explain it to people?
That's like so she'll be bending over. It's like sunset flip or like a Canadian destroyer. But she just backstab her. It
looks really cool. I don't know if it's like hard to take or something because she doesn't use it too often, right? Maybe only certain people can pull it off with her. Anyways, discus clothesline by Moon to Kai and a save by Gonzalez. DDT with help from Ripley by Moon to Gonzalez. The tall girls are outside the ring, and there's almost a botched powerbomb by Moon to Kai. She sort of saves it. It ended up looking okay. But she almost fell over sideways, sort of. Anyways, Moon climbs the ropes, but Gonzalez stops her. Things happen outside, but we don't see it. Because remember, someone walks right in front of the camera or something? Right at the end, there was something right. It was
Vic Joseph backing up from the table.
Oh, it was. And it was right behind him, so we weren't quite sure what happened there. And then we get, of course, an Eclipse to Kai, and it's for 3
The
count.
set was actually all right because Kai was
okay.
distracted, so it was
Yes.
like...
She had a reason to be standing there waiting to take it, so it was better than sometimes when it gets
Right.
executed. I actually thought this was
The
a
odd
really...
time they managed to get a decent setup for it,
They do.
I'll admit.
But it's like 1 out of 3 or something, right? The other 2 look kind of lame.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought this was a good match. Ember Moon looked good in the ring. Just don't let her speak, please. And all 4 worked really well. I thought Ripley was selling more than usual. I thought she was okay at it. And Gonzalez, I thought, looked good. I liked this match. By far my favorite thing on the show, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was good. I think better by AEW just by default.
The show?
Yeah, just because there's the last bit of AEW is just meh. Although, it's now that I say that, it's hard to say because of all the damn promos and stuff.
Right. So here, can I give you my rundown?
I don't know.
So this is what I'm saying. I really liked last week's show, loved the pay-per-view, and thought that there was a shift, right, to the type of NXT I really prefer, but
Nope.
maybe not. So here, listen to the rundown of this show and
2
tell
steps
me
forward, 5 steps back.
and tell me if my grade is fair. Ready? An okay opener with Kushida and Ciampa with no finish. A weak promo by Moon. Enhancement comedy tag team match, Dane and Maverick. Tony Storm speaks. Johnny and Candice speak. Another enhancement match, Theory and Ruff. Followed by a decent mid-card match, Theory Loomis. Kai Gonzalez speak. O'Reilly speaks. Holland speaks. Priest speaks. Another enhancement match of Holland and Birch. Johnny speaks. Thatcher speaks. Enhancement match, Shotzi Lee. Good main event. So C you get. This is what you get. You get a C. Because it was
Okay.
barely watchable for me. I'm kind of annoyed with it.
I'll give it a C too.
So many interviews, so many and maybe enhancement matches a bit harsh in a couple cases, but they're not
For the most part, I think you could say it's accurate.
they're not premier matches that are gonna stack a show that I really want to see, right? So this was not great. I thought it was a weak Wednesday night. I didn't love AEW and I liked NXT less, I guess would be my summary.
Yeah.
Still,
Honestly,
AEW is still watchable.
Both shows
This I didn't think.
were just compared to other episodes disappointed a bit for
Yep.
me.
Yep.
And AEW more so, just because they've always been so good.
I have higher expectations. Although, like I said, coming off the last 2 NXT things I watched, I was pretty high expectations here, which is maybe why I'm giving them a C, but it wasn't great. And if you really look at that rundown, there was so much talking.
Just
and
a disappointing week.
No marquee matches. All right, let's transition into our any other wrestling business. Do you have anything you want to say? I got a lot, which I might pare down quite a bit, to be honest.
We had the draft
We did.
on SmackDown.
Yep, I watched some of it, actually.
Yes. What the heck?
And
Oh,
unsurprisingly, the first 2 picks
Okay,
were the
so-
champions retained on each show.
Yeah. And so they had to pick sorry, I was just looking at something. I was confused for a second.
happens.
They drafted Asuka to Raw, even though she's already the Raw champion. I find that
They
unnecessary.
have to.
And
That's
I was angry because on SmackDown, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston won the tag titles from Cesaro and Nakamura, which is fine and dandy. But they're the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And then they get drafted to Raw. Are you kidding me?
maybe it's going to be a
Like,
story.
that's stupid.
And the fact that Asuka's the Raw champion makes them have to draft her, not less likely to draft her. What do they want her to go to SmackDown and take the championship?
She just shouldn't be able to go to SmackDown.
I don't even like
because she's
talking
the
about
Raw
main roster. I
champion.
feel so it's
And
Anyways, go ahead.
one of the most surprising things, Seth Rollins going to SmackDown, like full time for the first.
Sorry, what's his nickname?
the
Monday Night
Messiah.
Messiah's moving to Friday.
So I think he's the SmackDown savior or something.
Who
Anyways.
cares?
So he's
None of this matters. They
he's
all
on
move
SmackDown
back
for the
and forth.
first time since like 2016. So this is actually an interesting one because he's been on Raw for so long.
I guess.
So like, and a stupid one is, so AJ Styles just got traded to SmackDown and he didn't want to be on Raw. Too bad, go back to Raw.
Oh well.
Yeah. And nothing too marquee. Dominic and Rey
He
Mysterio
probably spoke out
went to
about the whole
SmackDown.
Twitch thing, and that's his punishment. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, so the draft is already. They're WWE reportedly gonna try to get the briefcase off of Otis.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking at a thing just right now. More draft picks were announced on Talking Smack, so I'm just gonna, Tucker is going to Raw, and so.
Sorry, I'm
and
going to
Otis
try and
is
stay
staying on
awake here. I'm going to
SmackDown.
drink some coffee. Go ahead.
So Heavy
good for the
Machinery
listeners, I
have
just
been
don't care.
split.
Yeah.
Murphy, I believe, is going to SmackDown. Kalisto is staying on SmackDown. And Gulak and Humberto Carrillo are going to Raw. Humberto Carrillo sucks. Mickey James, Lucha House Party's Grand Malik, and Tori D were all left as free agents once the show reached its conclusion.
Nobody knows who's on any show anyways.
Yeah. All right, so now I've got an updated Impact Bound for Glory card.
Okay.
Just quick. We got Impact World Title, Eric Young versus Eddie Edwards again.
Yep.
Deanna Praza versus Kylie Ray. Knockouts title. Tag titles, Motor City Machine Guns, North, Good Brothers, Austin Fulton.
Yep.
And then X Division, Rohit Raju, TJP, Chris Bay, Trey Miguel, Willie Mack, and Jordan Grace. I think it's a scramble.
Yep.
So yeah, there's that, and then I think that's it. Oh yeah, and I was kind of angry because they put the Fiend in a SmackDown match.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. They all go across back and forth anyways. That's why the whole draft and
No, the Fiend is on SmackDown. I just think he
split.
should be a pay-per-view guy.
I don't understand.
Kevin Owens is on Raw.
Oh, that's what you're upset about.
Kevin Owens is on Raw, which is stupid. But I think
Hard to care.
and the Fiend should be a pay-per-view attraction. They do it for stupid Brock Lesnar, but not a cool new monster character.
Brock Lesnar has
Brock Lesnar sucks.
Brock
Lesnar sucks.
His mainstream appeal that Bray
Boo.
Wyatt does not, and you
Bray
understand
Wyatt
that.
has cool monster appeal.
Yes. Okay.
That's right.
So, anyways, moving on to Ring of Honor really quickly because we're running kind of long.
Yes.
So it was the exact same formula as the previous shows. So post-match interviews, pre-match interviews, matches. First one was Russ Taylor versus Tracy Williams. Two really strong video packages again about both of them, or each of them, I guess. And Taylor's specialties are grappling and wrestling catch style. He's making his ROH debut and we'll remember his name after tonight, and I don't really recognize him, have no idea where he's from. Williams knows many different forms of combat. He's tenacious, and when he gets mad, that's when the hot sauce comes out. His nickname is Hot Sauce. So the match, and I went, dang it, that's Ryan Taylor. So I did know Russ Taylor
Who's Ryan Taylor?
Until he did his little pose where he like a yoga pose in his entrance. It's a guy from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Ryan Shamrock.
Normally a tag wrestler. Actually, he's very good. He's in phenomenal shape. His partner is Thomas Day, and they're like in a yoga, I don't know, some sort of tag team. Anyways, so it's really good to see him get a chance. Williams hits a pile driver and a crossface arm breaker for the win. A pretty good competitive match with a couple awkward spots, but nothing major. I enjoyed the match, and it was nice to see a guy I've watched wrestle for years on a very small promotion get a shot on a national television show. Next, we get Tony Deppen versus PJ Black, who is also formerly known as
Pirate Grandpa.
And
Justin Gabriel.
So standard good video packages again. I've never heard of Tony Deppen before, but he tells us he's a combination of punk rock and skateboarding, and he's used to being unknown, and that he uses that to his advantage to surprise his opponents. And Black has a really he's an interesting character, let me tell you. He's a hybrid athlete and wants to prove that he's more than just a high flyer. He's kind of out there, but a really interesting upbringing and history, sort of childhood and everything. I thought it was kind of cool. So the match, I found it kind of boring to start, and then it picked up. Deppen kind of reminds me of like maybe more skilled because he seemed to do more moves and stuff, but like Mikey Whipwreck or Colin Delaney, where he's resilient and takes a beating, right? Like the Darby Allin kind of idea. So finish saw Deppen kick out of a pump handle cutter at 1, an implant DDT at 2, and then a crucifix driver for 3. So it was him kicking out of 2 really tough finishers, sort of selling that whole he's resilient kind of thing, but he still lost. So I enjoyed it. Deppen looked resilient and tough, and Black is always solid, at least. Overall, solid, not spectacular show. It's like they knew which episodes were really strong and put those at the first 2, right? Because it's sort of a dip since the first 2. Still good. I gave it a B. A Canadian B, as we now know there's a difference. The video packages continue to be really impressive every week, and whoever's making those and producing those is doing a great job. I was going to briefly talk about Victory Road. I actually watched it. So you ready? You want it really fast?
On like the Impact podcast?
Yes.
You listened to
Yeah, it's interesting. I was telling Jackson I listened to a podcast. I try a bunch of different ones on Podbean, as I hope people do with us. And their entire, I won't say the name of their podcast, but their entire show is that they talk about Impact, so Impact Wrestling. And it turns out neither of the hosts had seen Victory Road, but they were going to talk about. So I thought that was, I did watch it. Jack didn't, but I don't make him watch Impact Wrestling at this point. So Rascals
versus... And it's empty arena, so I refuse.
Rascals versus Triple XL to start. For me, the feed was sort of glitchy at the beginning, and it started already underway, and it was lagging for some of the match. Rascals win. It looked okay for what I was able to see. Brian Myers and Tommy Dreamer. I say it every week. I don't need to see Dreamer wrestle on a weekly basis in 2020. Myers wins an okay match with a clothesline.
Really?
Oh my God, you're perfect. I put pause for Jack after I said wins the match with the clothesline. Literally in my notes, it says pause for Jack. And then you went, really? I know.
What?
I was interested in Brian Myers for a week or two. I didn't think I would be.
I don't even want to give them the satisfaction of the reaction.
This feud doesn't help. It's not his fault. And I hope this combination's finished. Just kidding. Dreamer implies that they'll have a hardcore match on Impact on Tuesday.
Why wouldn't you do the hardcore match on the pay-per-view, which is supposed to be more marquee? Because that's more Dreamer style, so even though I wouldn't watch it, I'd rather see that.
Yeah, I don't want to see Dreamer at all. So Rohit Raju versus Willie Mack in the Defeat Rohit Challenge. Another just okay match. I'd hoped for better because I like both of these guys. And this is a pay-per-view. Rohit loses by countout, but retains his belt, so another heel way for him to sort of get away with the belt again. Jordan Grace versus Tennille Dashwood. Third time I've seen this match in less than 2 weeks, but I'm okay with it. They seem to have really good chemistry, and I'll just summarize the finish. Dashwood hits a butterfly suplex for 2. Dashwood goes for the spotlight kick, but Grace blocks, and Dashwood is sent into the post. Grace hits a Vader bomb for 2. Grace applies a sleeper. Caleb distracts the referee while Dashwood taps. But Dashwood get back to her feet now. The ref's paying attention. Hits Grace with the spotlight kick for the 3 count. Competitive, hard-hitting, similar to the previous matches in quality, which are very good. That's all I have to say. Heath and Rhino versus Reno Scum. Heath and Rhino win a decent, at best, match as Heath hits his finisher, the wake-up call. Sounds like Heath will be getting a contract because he talks to Scott D'Amore. They're going to meet Tuesday to negotiate a contract for Heath. Moose and Trey. Moose dominates Trey but won't pin him. Trey almost gets a roll-up off a minimal distraction. ECW's logo flashes on the screen for like 3 seconds, and that's enough to distract Moose, and Trey gets the roll-up win. Really did not like this. I think Moose is awesome, and I think EC3 is a good fit for Impact. But Moose looks really kind of dumb here because the logo literally flashes, and it's like totally distracting to him. So for me, the build of this feud between Moose and EC3 has been weak. I watch weekly, and I'm still not really sure why either man feels so strongly about the belt. Moose is the champ and wants his belt, I guess. But really, this is the length that an EC3 hates the belt and wants to destroy it. But I don't really get it.
But hasn't destroyed it yet?
I don't know. It's a bitter blood feud, but I can't relate to either character situation at all because they haven't developed it for me. So good luck with that, I guess. And Trey is a total afterthought here, obviously, which sucks for him.
Yep.
And then we get a free-for-all match. Ace Austin with Madman Fulton, Carl Anderson with Gallows, Alex Shelley with Sabin, and Alexander with Page. And it's pretty much what you'd expect, a fun match with lots of action. To end, the ref gets taken out and things get crazy in the ring.
The way they did it was confusing.
What do you mean?
Because wasn't it like the tag, but it's a 4-way?
No, it wasn't. This wasn't a tag. This was just a one-on-one. Or one-on-one on one-on-one. That was in the...
Wasn't that the victory?
That was the week before or whatever. No, this was not.
Oh.
There's eventually a finisher parade with Alexander hitting his double underhook piledriver to Shelley for the win. A really fun match, I thought.
Shelley is cool here.
Who?
Shelley.
Yes, you mentioned that all the time. Knockouts Championship match, Perazzo versus Susie. Was actually pretty good. Perazzo wins with a... Susie taps to the Venus de Milo, which is where she stretches both arms behind the back. It looks pretty cool.
Is that the Fujiwara?
That's like a double, I guess. She's bending way behind the back.
Double arm Fujiwara.
Looks pretty painful. Leon Perazzo attacks Susie after, arms in the chair, stomp sort of routine, etc. And they force Kylie Ray to watch, and they're sort of holding her back while they destroy Susie, which I'm not sure why they wouldn't destroy Kylie Ray since she's Perazzo's next opponent, and Perazzo's like a super heel, but they take out her friend instead and leave Kylie Ray alone, which I don't understand.
Maybe they just wanted to make her sad.
I guess. I preferred the other knockouts match, but this wasn't bad. Dashwood and Perazzo, I assume, should be upcoming at some point, maybe too, and that might be good. Anyways, main event, Eric Young, Eddie Edwards. I'm critical of Impact a lot, and I'm not a huge fan of Edwards, but this was an excellent match, I'm happy to say. Young wins with the knee bar after tons of damage to the knee before this. Young goes to attack Eddie with some more with a chair, but Rich Swann obviously makes the save. This was a long match, over 23 minutes, I think, but it didn't feel like it. Young's really good with this character, and Edwards was actually pretty good too. A strong end to a decent pay-per-view. Overall, mediocre offering, like C+, B- probably, I guess.
Nice.
And then I'm not even going to cover Impact because, who really cares? I just covered Victory Road. I think that's enough Impact Wrestling. But all I will say is that the first 3 matches were the exact same as the pay-per-view. I did notice that. I did watch it, but there wasn't anything that jumped out at me that was worth talking about, really. Mm-hmm. And anything else for any other wrestling business?
No.
The only other thing I was saying, you remember how I mentioned the idea last week of a women's division getting like an entire hour on a show?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, since Raw Underground seems to be gone, I wish the draft they would just stack Raw with women wrestlers and then do the last hour as women's. Just
Or
them.
I would like the middle hour maybe.
An hour, let's say, like 2 hours for men and 1 hour for women, and it's like a separate show almost within the show. I think that would be cool, but it's not going to happen. So
No, it's not.
all right, so that brings us to our final segment. Wow, I raced through any other business. We're back on pace here. So sorry, it's just none of it was that exciting this week, and when it's exciting, I'll spend some more time talking about it. It was more just summarizing it because there was nothing that was either amazing or terrible. How's your head?
I just hit my head though because I was stretching.
All right, so we'll head to our last segment where Jack tells us what's new in the world of wrestling action figures. It's Figuring It Out with Jack.
Yay. Hold on, let me grab my phone so I can use reference images.
Really? You couldn't have grabbed your phone while I was throwing to you doing this? Unprofessionalism.
Okay.
Go ahead, buddy.
I got it.
My coffee's gone. That's a first. I've never had the coffee gone before.
No,
We didn't even play America's favorite game show. What you drinking?
Oh yeah, I already told you it was orange juice.
Orange
remember?
juice, and I was water, and then a coffee for the second half.
Coffee? What?
For those of you keeping the stats.
Never.
Shocking, I know.
So we
What you got for us?
A less interesting one, but Survivor Series Elite 2020 series is available. So we got John Morrison from 2007. He's got the SmackDown tag title from the original brand split. We got Drew McIntyre from 2018. He's got the interchangeable head with the hair down and a cloth Raw shirt this time. Fantastic. Nice. Now that I'm doing like the UTW with my figures and not using WWE, they finally come out with the cloth Survivor Series shirts like wanted.
You've wanted.
Yes.
But don't need anymore.
Yes.
Perfect.
We got Samoa Joe in blue, also 2018 with the SmackDown shirt. And they got Kane from 2001, Invasion era. He's wearing like red. Looks pretty nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Looks pretty nice. We've got figure images for Elite or AEW Unrivaled 2. Sorry. Looks really nice. Dustin Rhodes. And then we got MJF. He's got a regular and he's also got a chase variant. The normal one is in red. Chase variant's a pink one. We've got the figure of Mae Young revealed for the Elite 81.
Mae Young figure, eh?
Target exclusive, I believe.
Is that
or
her
just says exclusive?
Has she had a figure before? Probably,
No.
right? No?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, at least not Mattel.
Congratulations, Mae Young. You've made it. Finally made it.
Yeah, but so she's got that as a store exclusive. Perhaps one of the more interesting ones I already showed you is the Elite 81 Shinsuke Nakamura has been revealed.
Yeah, it looks cool.
So he's got blue and black design. It is like the bodysuit one, but the blue and black one is like it's sleeveless, so he's still got the armband. It looks incredible. The new face scan looks amazing. I really like it. I'll show you again just because it looks good.
It looked cool.
It's got the new Intercontinental title, which
Yeah.
is nice. I am coming around on that title.
I miss the old one still, but it doesn't really matter.
Then we got the chase variant is black with red lines and a white line a bit. We've seen him wear this before. This is the full body suit with the sleeves. Also comes with the Intercontinental title. And we've got rendered images for an Elite 81. I think it's supposed to be 84 Murphy or Buddy Murphy. They made me say Murphy.
They've got you. You're convinced.
And I'm disappointed because already his second Elite figure, well, third, because he got the Chase in Elite 82. Or no, 72, sorry. It is Disciple attire Murphy, just like his basic, except this one will come with interchangeable hands and Monday Night Messiah Seth Rollins cloth shirt, which actually is a cool accessory, so
Nice.
that's pretty nice. Let me see, what else do I have here? We got packaging images and loose images for the WrestleMania 37 celebration figures, Andre the Giant and Randy Savage, the ones that with the ring carts. The packaging looks really cool. I don't think I showed you yet, but it looks really nice.
Oh, different. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With the mini rings.
Yeah, and the Randy Savage is nice too.
Cool.
But those are really nice. We got Undertaker Elite Legends Series 9. This is when he Mabel busted his face and he's got the mask.
Mabel,
So-
all-time great.
We have seen this attire before, but this is like a true FX face scan now. We got Ted DiBiase Elite Legends Series 9 revealed, Chase and Normal, $1 million title.
Love $1 Million Man.
This is one of him in the suit. And then we got Nikolai Volkov Elite Legends Series 9. And we got Elite 82 British Bulldog Walmart exclusive revealed. This does come with the dog Matilda. I believe that is it for today.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, does it feel like we've been doing this for 3 months? I certainly didn't think the Corona time would still be on 3 months into it. I thought we were starting at the very tail end of this madness, right? But so that wraps up this week. A special thank you to any new listeners, especially any listeners at all. Really, we appreciate it.
We did get some.
We picked up a bunch this week, so thank you. Tell your friends.
If that just means people are re-listening or just new listeners, either way, it's good.
Fantastic for us. Yep. So as always, you can find us pretty much anywhere. FNS Wrestling. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts. And am I missing anything? YouTube, obviously. And Instagram. Jack, what's that again?
FNS_wrestling_podcast. You'll get all our updates there. And I don't know, you could DM us, and if you want to make any suggestions for a bonus episode, we will, if we end up doing it. Even if we don't end up doing it for a while, we could do it at some point.
We'll keep it on file.
Because honestly, the bonus episodes, it's like if we need to put out an episode, like when we couldn't do our usual podcast. It's our first bonus episode. Or maybe we'll do a Christmas special like we're doing for Thanksgiving.
Yep. We'll talk about
it. But yeah, so just you could suggest one there, and you can also email us at
fnswrestling@gmail.com.
Yep. Also suggest stuff there.
Look out for a bonus episode. We're hoping to publish it on Monday.
NXT Takeover Brooklyn for all you NXT fans.
2015.
Yes.
So that is a holiday on Monday, so we're looking to publish it then, so look for that.
Yep.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining us and taking some time out of your week to listen to a couple of guys talk about wrestling. It's a highlight of our week, so we appreciate any time you can give us. And we'll see you back here, same time, same place next week. Take care.
Yep.